Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hack, and
Mouse.
he got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes.
All right, my friends, we are here for the grad show. I gotta get a screen capture going here. Let's get this. Boom. There we go. I was away at a tournament. Me and Kostya were both playing a tournament last week. And then Kostya was doing a thing. He does the first Wednesday of every month. So our normal rhythm is a little bit off. He finished a lot of the graduates from last week, yesterday. And so I have to do a little catch up. And then we're going to move on to the graduates that would have normally been from Wednesday. So, apologies. That's going to happen. We're going to be away at tournaments and stuff. And you can always watch this show on our Twitch feed. And a lot of times we try our best to put it on our ChessDojo live channel too. Okay, so Morubai, Kostya had finished everyone through Jacko, I believe. And Morubai says that the longer games allow for a lot more introspection and thought indeed. There we go. So let's see what's going on. With Morubai, you can see he's off to a beautiful dojo start here with a nice heat map. Actually, you can't see his heat map too much on the screen grab that I currently have. Well, but you can see it here. Obviously doing amazing. Join the dojo and your rating is going to go up. Okay, so all of this looks pretty good. He has very good tactics scores, so we are going to guess that he is going to go up again soon. He's in Louisville. That's interesting to know. Morubai, tell us something about yourself. He's got a bunch of games. Let's see what's going on over here. These look like Lichess ratings because they're so high. Very good time usage for the 45-30 game. So it looks also like maybe he could have prepped a little bit. And great, let's get into it. Maybe a dojo tournament, unclear to me. So here we go. Knight g3, not a great move because we're losing a tempo. And the knight is actually kind of funny on g3 anyway. So, of course, we should be taking on f6. That is a weird move. It might already be possible for white black to play e5. I don't know. So, bishop d3. Okay. That's a little frisky. Do I like it? That's interesting. h4. He does this little thing. Now, what's controversial here is now I feel like you're threatening f3. Like, could you have played f3 right now? To me, it looks like you could have. Yeah. So, you played c3. The question would be f3, and if bishop d6, king f2, I think you're winning a pawn. I mean, I think it's complicated and everything, but it looks like you're winning a pawn because he's going to need to go back someday. Okay, c3, we don't like it at the dojo because it is not developing. You took forever there. Okay. So black is fine. Probably a good move, actually. Knight e5, knight e4, also a good move. Notice your knight had no business on g3. It was time to move that guy. I don't know about this. Yeah. And you say black is better here. This is probably the end of the opening and beginning of the middle game. Okay. He's counting tempi. I don't know. Let's see what he says. I suspect black is winning, slightly winning here because of the strong bishop g4. Yeah. No, I would rather be white, I think. After you move your rook on d1, the bishop on g4 just looks kind of cool. Standard move. Let's call it standard. I was wondering myself whether I wanted to do it. The issue with this move, of course, is I might have to go there, but it had a value on the d file too. Knight e5, very frisky. And now knight f4. Knight e5 is maybe a good move. All right, so he looked at bishop e4. And the other move you should consider would be snip, snop, snark, snookers, hookers, chookers, and pookers. With the point that your rook gets to the f7 square, and I don't think you're worse. So we should at least consider that move. After he wins the bishop, arguably he's definitely better here because of bishop f5. He doesn't do it though. Now you should play e4 with the main point of stopping him. Well, it'll still be complicated for truth. E4 will still be complicated because he has e5. Okay, rook f2, e5, good move. Knight c5. Okay. Snip, I don't know about that snip. I would definitely play ed4 here. You play cd4. I don't understand why you don't play queen b3 to defend the thing. Now you go for it. Queen h4, and now you force a draw? No, you take the rook. Good. Okay, so a little blunder from your opponent, and you say you're slightly winning. I would say you're probably more than slightly winning. Queen c3. Okay, I would have preferred e4. Why do I want e4? Because your rooks really want to open everything up here. They want to open it up. If your rooks don't get open, then they're not. Then why should they be better than the bishop, right? Now we're in a little trouble. I don't understand queen h4. Good move. Now we did it. Now, good move. I like that. Uh-oh. Yeah. Queen e3. And now that's a blunder. We needed to play rook e3. So notice that the main problems in this game from both sides are just people blundering stuff. It's an interesting endgame now. And Stockfish wants king at e5. Now, I think it's important to see that here king c7 maybe. He does it instantly. But the question I would have is, am I lost after g4? Am I lost after g4? If I am lost after g4, then I want to play maybe rook h2 here. And the e5 thing, maybe, but I don't really believe in that chuck. I don't believe in that chuck. All right, so g4. By the way, these guys, one of the things you can see, and I apologize for not showing the annotation palette. I kind of wanted to keep this beautiful time graph on, is that black stopped thinking. You can see the blue line there. He just stopped thinking entirely. And these endgames are very hard. They're hard positions. Okay. Now, rook f2, again, white is an also not thinking. What do I sense? My just general sense is that players are not thinking when it comes to the end game. And they think it's simple, but I think it's more like they're terrified of the vast expanse of nothingness where you must calculate. You must calculate. Now, in general, as a rule of thumb, what you don't have to calculate is you could say, hey, pawn end games when you're down a pawn, generally you're toast. Pawn end games where your opponent has an outside passed pawn, such as here, generally you are toast. King d6, I prefer g4, g5, but okay. I still want him to play g4, g5. That's a terrible move. Well, maybe it's not terrible. It at least gives you the thought of playing d5 here. I mean, it's totally lost anyway, too. Okay. Yeah. Simple chess, and now you're toast. Okay. That was wrong. That was wrong. And here I resigned. Okay. So one of the things that I want you to say in here, to me, it was two things. That neither player thought when it got to the end game, and both players, the game was decided on people hanging stuff. Right? Okay, but well done. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this as reviewed. That way, if they thought I wasn't on it or, whatever, they can see that somebody reviewed their game. All right, that was Morobai. Great. Let's look at Signor Conte. Let's go Signor Conte. Just joined the dojo. Doesn't say anything. Tell us something about yourself. They're from Italy. And no games. Just joined. Welcome to the dojo, Signor Conte. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more work and games from you as you progress. Andrew Pringle's pretty new here. Beautiful. We got some clubs. He's in the Adult Improver. And it looks like they are Country Life here. 11-13. This game is from a while back. So this is a round-robin tournament. And they did not put their times in. Let's go to the game review here. And do I need to do anything game review? No, I'm set. All right. So I believe our hero was white. So far, so good. A little weird. Yeah. Computer says queen b6 was best. By the way, I don't like this lead chess. A lot of times, by the way, this lead chess thing is automatic, so you really have to work hard to turn it off. It's very annoying in lead chess. And I could tell it's lead chess just from this nasty way it writes it, 0.5, 1.39, mistake. Queen b6 was best. Maybe queen b6 is a cool move, but d5 would be the human move in that position. All right. He's in big trouble. That's not a good move. He's just hanging all his stuff. Okay, I think you have a good move here. d3. Great. Beautiful. Well done. Now we're just simply winning. Beautiful. All right, so we're up a pawn. He has one dirty trick. Look at that. So actually, queen c7 is a good example of just somebody playing for a dirty trick. They're just playing for a dirty trick, buddy. That wasn't it. So why is this significant? Now we have won some time and also really won the blockade battle. Black wants to blockade this square. Bam! Your blockade's over, son. Beautiful chess. Oh, that's ugly chess right there. I don't know. Why wouldn't we go queen c3, but okay. Fine. Oh, that's frisky. I'm sure you could take e6. There we go. Oh, look at this beautiful thing here. Oh, look at this guy. Oh. 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 Goodbye. Goodbye. Well, he needed to resign. So, well done. And Screetop, I believe we know from the dojo. We know Screetop. He's been on this graduation ceremony. And you can import the games to show the times. I want to stress that. And really, this was bad. And then that was bad. And I think you got to at least try the move c4. It looks really weird. Okay, but it's still kind of complicated after c4. Okay, well done. That was Country Life, a.k.a. Andrew Pringle. Welcome to the dojo. It looks like you're doing great. Next up, we have Yusmil. Graduated 1,000 times. And Yusmil says, I attribute my recent graduation to continue to do what has worked for me recently, working on my basic opening strategies along with making an effort to play more. I look forward to my new cohort. Excuse me, I got the wrong little thing here. Look forward to my new cohort and all the challenges that are ahead. Thanks for everything, senseis and fellow dojoers. Beautiful. Okay. So, let's go look, use meal. Oh, he's in Greenville, North Carolina. Look at that. I was just in Charlotte, North Carolina. Me and Kosu playing that big old U.S. Masters tournament. Whoo, buddy. And Justin, I don't know if he knows it, and I don't know anything really about Greenville. The Kosu did tell me there was a tournament there at some point. North Carolina, especially Charlotte, seems like it's doing amazing with chess. So, we got St. Louis as a chess center and now Charlotte as a chess center. So you're in luck there. And he is doing really good. He is doing a lot of opening. It looks like opening and tactics work, so we can see over here. Progressing very nicely. 430 points since joining the dojo. Dang. So let's go take a look at some clubs here. Eastern North Carolina dojoers. We got 3 people in Greenville. I would suspect you also got, what's the hippie town out there? Asheville. You got Asheville out there too, maybe. That's what I think of. That's true Eastern North Carolina, right? Okay, games. Here we go. This is a 1450 child. He played. Wait, let me see if I can get a more recent game than that. No, that looks like that's the most recent. By the way, we really want your games in the My Games folder. Let's look at this child. I had to face some children myself. So it looks like the times weren't accurately given. Let's go game review here. We'll mark this as reviewed. All right, standard fare, cheap threats. Okay, knight d4. Moving a knight for a second time, absolutely. And now, an interesting momentito. You castle, basically with the claim that, hey, I don't need to deal with that pawn. So, I got questions, and I feel just for your annotation, you definitely want to look at like Queen F2. What's going on with Queen F2 as an example? I'm assuming it's Queen C4 and life kind of goes on, but I would want some analysis there. This is incredibly frisky for him to do this. Now you play knight d5, and you call this equal. I guess. I can think of a lot of different words besides equal here, though. That thing is complicated. That's a very complicated position. Okay. So Queen H4, full blunder. Thank you, kid. Goodbye. That wasn't it. For sure, you could play H takes G3. And in a way, it's unnecessary because your position's so amazing. But it is a noteworthy thing just to think about the fact that if you got rid of the rook, then you wouldn't need to develop the bishop. The bishop would be developed where it stands. And as you say, the queen is hosed over here, right? Okay, so you are up a rook, though, so you don't need to do that much here. Good. Can't be wrong. Oh, it is wrong. Oh, no. Oh, no, it is wrong. And all we had to do, I mean, anything besides bishop d6, that's the most natural move, of course. Oh, man. And he sees it now, that rook takes d6, queen e1, so he has to do this. Oh, man. Blunders. So, okay, this kid, and by the way, another thing for us to look at the times is it'd be interesting to see why this kid was, I mean, it feels like they were just moving super fast. That's what it feels like to me, right? Okay, well done, though. We beat this kid. Queen g6, bam, got him. So, Yusmil, you've graduated again. You're doing great. Very impressive. Next up, we have, I don't know what this guy's name is. Terhi or something like that. All right, so they have been with us since the summer, off and on logging their stuff. We got some clubs, nothing. We got some games. So that's his actual name is guess maybe H is his middle initial, and then we got Y as his last name. Who would have known? All right, this is a local chess club. We got a time graph? No. Remember, you can import this time graph. All right, let's go game review. Okay. Now, E5. Boom. And this is a very scary position for black, but probably should be okay. Here we go. Knight c6, castles, and now you go for it with bishop e6. Now, the intuition should be that white is doing great with bishop takes and then either knight g5 or queen b3, right? Okay. Mistake. Why? Because they're not developing. Probably okay. It makes me super nervous, though, because of queen c2. Yeah. What else to play? Well, what it suggests, what you're doing suggests, well, I understand. I guess I understand. Queen c2 looks miserable. Let's look at your variation. Queen c2. Snip, snop, snook. And you say this seems okay for black. I don't know. Knight d4 is an obvious question. It looks like you're getting popped. In any case, this guy doesn't understand development. Good. I don't know. Now, I think they should take on c6, but he doesn't understand development. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, nice move. Simple chess. Get out of here, punk. Get out of here, you punk. All right, the technique is a little lost on me here, but the opponent isn't doing anything. It's getting a little weird. You are doing weird things. All right, but I like that. You're holding it together. Okay. We definitely need some annotations here. And rook takes e6 looks like it hurts me. e6. Let's give up the exchange and see what the pawns are made of. Oh, man. Totally unnecessary, by the way. There's no reason that this should ever have gotten this far. Your opponent, though, he gives you a lot of things. Let's see what they're made of. Let's see what they're made of. There we go. Let's see what they're made of. I like this. It's fun. I think knight f4. Yeah, knight f4. I don't know why we're doing this. Oh man, look at this fancy business. Oh, it's so complicated. Oh God. And white won this one. Okay, so one of the things I want to stress for everybody around this level, okay, is you are going to play a bunch of people who don't develop their coconuts. And when they don't develop their coconuts, you're going to get some position like this that you need to convert on, right? And you start great, and there's no reason that this position should turn into anything complicated. No reason at all. You look at this. You even have the lead in development, right? So this is the period of the game I would have wanted some deeper annotations on, because it just kind of, you help him out, and then all of a sudden he's the one who maybe is better. Okay, so here we go. Bam. Next up we have Rücksichtlos. That's pretty good. That's the best chess pawn so far at the dojo. Rücksichtlos means, if you spelled it a little differently, means kind of careless. But he spelled it with the rook. That's why he's a genius. Here's Rücksichtlos. He has not been marking his business, though. Look at that. Marking the odd opening work. So we don't know what's going on with Mr. Rücksichtlos. He's doing all. He's, gained a lot of rating points. 856 is, of course, not the actual number. But he's gone from 1,300 to... No, I guess that is the actual number. He's gone from 1,300 ChessCom to 1,800 ChessCom. So cry, that's actually called 500. It's called 500. No clubs. I know he's in Germany somewhere. Put it in there, buddy. Here we go. Rücksichtlos. That's from ages ago. I'm sure I covered that before. Buddy, we want you back at the dojo. Marking your stuff on the heat map. Putting in your games. All right, that's Rücksichtlos. And now we have Seni. Very fun and cool to have a high-rated player in the dojo. He's also from Germany. And he's trying to reach 2,000 feet. He's very close. Now, one of the things I like about this guy is so many people put an over-ambitious goal up. But this guy, who is 1965 German, 1937 FIDE, that is a hard goal, but very achievable. Some people might be like, 70 points, 40 points. But I tell you, once you're up here, especially if you've been here for a while, it's something you have to really grind. It's very doable, but it's difficult. Especially if you're an old dude. So I don't know how old he is, though. So he's in Agard's army. Agard is a friend of the dojo. And Jan Sua, this was published just a little bit ago. Very active on the game annotations. Very good. Very good. Oh, I was praising him when praise wasn't due. Seni, are you putting up stuff here that has no annotations? It looks like he's just loading stuff that has no annotations. Here we go. Now, when was this? Okay. Now, maybe he had just loaded it with the intention of going over it later. All right, here we go. So, do we have a time graph? Oh, we do. So, that's a beautiful thing. Now, notice the staircase. What it looks like is what Seni is doing is putting the move times down every 5 moves. And then maybe it was kind of the game he felt was decided by move 25, and he just left it at that. It is, if you want to do it that way, that's fine. I like to do it on just, if it's an obvious recapture or something, I'm not going to write down the time on my score sheet. But otherwise, this looks great, and he did better with his time than his opponent, which always for the dojo is a big win. All right, let's go game review. Ba-bam. So far, so good. Good. Okay. Well, I don't like that for him. I also don't like this for you. In general, we don't want to ever do that because we're playing a King's Indian. So bishop g7 is for sure the right move. We're never afraid at ef because of gf. De4, interesting. I would definitely say that after knight e4, white's better. De4, probably they're better too. Okay, so here we go. b3. Queen d7. I'm not sure what we're doing here with queen d7. I don't like this move for white either. So, I think we should start by saying that knight d5 is correct. We're not concerned with c6 because really the main plan, if I'm white, that I'm concerned with is some kind of knight c6, d4. So if black plays c6, they will get in the way of that plan. So loss of tempo. I don't understand queen d7. Bishop g5 in general I don't like. All right, so here comes this. Rook f7, reasonable plan. Ooh, I had a bad feeling that's what he wanted to do. This is not correct, okay? Because what you are doing is you're spending a tempo to trade your good bishop on e6 for their bad bishop on g2. And I assume you're doing it with the thought that like, hey, I am attacking. But you don't really have an attack. Now, your opponent responds a little bit with a comparable mistake. He gives his good bishop and plays rook a d1. I do think it's fair to say that white is better here. Now, he does have to do something with his e2 knight. c5, in principle, a good move. And now it gets spicy. Boom, boom. All right. Takes, and a very ambitious move here. I'm not sure about this one yet. f4. Probably okay. All right, rook e8. You spend 12 minutes on this one. By the way, maybe it's not 12 minutes. It might be the accumulation since the last one. The last time stamp on move 15. You're right. Position is now equal in my eyes. Both sides have a defined win conditions, those being playing around their past pawns. Okay, I disagree a little bit, but let's read on. Rooks and queens are equal in strength in this position. I do not do a proper evaluation of the minors. I evaluated the knight as relatively more powerful to the bishop and that the bishop is in risk of being shut down with e5. And then it looks like maybe he came back to it and decided he needed to play c6 immediately, or maybe just with his last mistake. Okay, so I would say that the position is about the position of the kings, and I am really only worried about as white, like like c5, whatever, that's going to take forever. I'm worried about making my knight effective. So rook fe1, I'm on board with. You could argue for rook de1. This is then truly a full positional blunder, c5. Because the question I have is like, will my knight on d5, but my pawns are better because I have, and my king is better, but will my knight have a role in the game, right? And I assume so. And I assume like here, white's going to be better because I'll eventually be able to find a use for the knight here. Okay. So yeah, this is a notable mistake. Good annotation. Of course, it's a double exclamation mark. We usually we usually use that for, when we hang something terrible. But being mad at yourself for c5 is appropriate. Okay. g5, I don't know. So what you're doing here with g5 is you're kind of freaking out. fg5. Simple chess. White continues simple. White continues the simple chess. Yeah, nice move. I think it's a nice move. Oh, look at that beautiful knight. Oh, so delicious. I like the way your opponent played this. Dang. Oh, I like your way your opponent played this a lot. Dang, buddy. Yeah, so what we're going to say is there's some big misunderstandings of King's Indian positions here, right? So they kind of start, where do they start? They start with this move here, fe4. You never want to give him the e4 square. That's one of the prime sins in the King's Indian. Then the next one begins with this plan. Bishop e6 in itself isn't so bad, but I kind of sensed, I was like, why isn't he not playing the knight in? And it's because he wants to go trade his good bishop off for white's bad bishop. Terrible. White made only a couple inaccuracies that I could immediately spot. But here was the follow through with the mistake. And then, of course, c5 is positional suicide, and this is like, because you need to understand that you're worse now on the king side. What are you doing on the king side? That's not your side of the board, bud. That's not your side. So a very painful loss, but I think if you take this home and be like, oh, I get it. This is the way we don't play the King's Indian, right? Then you're going to, make huge progress. Okay, good. So that is the graduations from 1126. Oh my gosh. And now we got to do the ones from yesterday. Oh man. Oh man. I just want to say in advance, I don't know if I'm going to finish this today. This is a lot. This is a lot, buddy. I don't know if I'm going to get to it. I'm going to do my best. If I don't get to it, though, that's fine. I'll just finish it tomorrow. I might take a break somewhere in here, too. All right, let's start in with Ned Stark's Ghosts. He says, I've played a lot of classical games, annotated each one, which I found helpful. Enjoyed playing in the round-robin tournament. Sparring with other dojo members has been so useful. I find the games far more challenging, which is perfect for progression. Thanks to everyone I've played and the people from the dojo who I talk to about our games and share tips with. Beautiful. That's the dojo happening from you right there. He's in his 30. Just changed from video games. And he plans, this guy's on it. He is on it. So you can see he's doing a lot of good work, mostly games and analysis. He has got a reasonable tactics rating. These benchmarks here suggest he's kind of right where he is, should be. This checkmate puzzle, we're fixing the rating on that. That's an inflated rating, unfortunately. Okay, let's see if he's got some clubs. Oh, he's got chess in Wales. Okay. Beautiful. Now we got some games over here. This is Ned Stark's Ghost, submitted very recently. I recognize this name, JW, I think so, anyway. So perhaps a dojo game. And we got some times. Oh my lord, something happened here. Oh my lord, something happened here. We're going to find out. In fact, I'm just going to leave this time graph window open. And just in my general experience, when people hit the end game and they have to start calculating, instead of calculating, you often get incredibly impulsive play. We're going to find out, okay? Because you can see with the 30-second increment that it turned for these guys into a blitz game at the end. All right, so far so good. Fine. 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 Both sides developing their coconuts just fine. Fine. Good. Fine. A little frisky. Knight b4, maybe a good move. Good move. Now, black has some issues here. White has some issues. And knight e1 definitely is not a great move because you could have now stolen a coconut with knight a2 and then come back. So bishop f5, and now white should play a3. Okay, that might also work. Good. Okay, so important to note that we lost our chance, and now with ae5, I think we're going to be losing a pawn. He plays bishop f1, but to my eyes, if he had played a3, then this pawn is hanging after we have to move the knight somewhere sad, like a6. I don't understand bishop f1. Okay, maybe rook takes d4 so that you would have tried to get the defender off of d2. It's an interesting move. So he talks about bishop g4 and says, I'm sorry. Now, the real I'm sorry, though, is I'm concerned that bishop h3 is going to whack us here. Let's see what happens here. Boom, boom. Now, he plays king c2. But look, I think this is what we call the in-between move. Ye old Zwischenzug. Ah, I'm pinned, bro. I'm pinned. So both sides are missing it here. Now, by the way, d3, totally unnecessary. And we have our answer. Remember what I said? I said once they get to the end game, a lot of times they stop thinking. And that's exactly what we see here. We see them hit like move 24, and then we get what they think is an end game, and then they stop thinking. This is a very interesting position. A standard move could be rook e3. Okay. d3 is poor because this pawn is going to be a victim. So we don't want to push it in a spot where it's going to be a victim, right? So, again, bishop h3 is just being missed. You want to trade rook, should have taken. Uh-oh, now we're hanging stuff. White's now winning. Right, a3, big mistake. Now you're back in it, though you're going to be down a pawn. Now look, this is what I'm talking about. This is actually a very complicated position. Even for me, this would be a complicated position where I need to think about what's going on. Okay? And instead, both players are moving instantly, as if they knew exactly what was happening. They do not. They do not know what's happening. And now this terrible travesty has happened to white. All right. So, one of the things that we see over and over at the dojo is inexperienced players play super fast in the end game. And I think there's two big reasons. One, after you've done some serious thinking, it's hard to not play impulsively because your mind's already tired. Two, the end game demands calculation. It demands calculation. And because people kind of intuitively sense it, their mind rebels from it. And they're just like, boom, 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 let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, so there it is. Ned Stark's Ghost, you're going to go up in rating for a 500, 600 cohort. That was a pretty good game. That was a pretty good game. Okay, so Gravity Rainbow, famous novel. 502, just made it, looks good. We got been here since the summer in Italy. And then we got 11:16. This game was played. This looks like a maybe an OTB game. So is it Andrea versus Luca? In Italy, I think Andrea is a very common boy's name, so it might be a dude. I don't know. Here we go. This, by the way, is a very, when you play the Sicilian at a lower level, you get the bishop c4 thing. That is almost exclusively. And e6 is a good response, so that we're going to body slam him with d5 with an extra tempo. Okay, interesting. Why can't we take the pawn on e4 would be my question. He does it this way. Oh, it's all right. Bishop d6, maybe a little better. Okay. I would have liked AB to get the rook out. c4, I would have wanted you to develop your pieces. I'm pretty sure the pawn on d4 is going to be hanging after bishop f3. The pawn on c4 is hanging here. And then the queen is hanging. Poor guy blundered his queen. So, one of the basic things we want to say as we move through these first batch of graduates is there are three things. I give this speech every graduation show. There are three things to get you over 1200 chess.com, which is about 1000 dojo. Okay? These are developing a grip on the board, seeing which pieces attack which. Everything in the program is basically designed for you to gain that skill. Next, using your time. As we see, people are often playing much too fast, impulsively. Using your time will help you see that you're not hanging pieces. And number three, development. Development becomes more important as you move up the ladder. And it's what I want to stress is development will generally not win you the game at this level, but it will help you win the game. Right? What the game will be decided on is people hanging coconuts like Queen C7. Right? Okay, well done. Next up, we got Zach G. Zach says, another quick graduation. Couldn't even count a lot of my moves on the task because they would end quickly. Not necessarily because I was so great, but I felt my opponents were just rushing all their moves. I could feel the spirit of Jesse, tut-tutting them every time. Focusing on moving slow, like you guys say, has been invaluable, and it makes the tactics really shine through, I think, because I'm seeing them so often now. Grip on the board is getting better, and games are still messy, but I'm working on it. I left a game in the My Games folder for you to look at, Jesse, from this cohort. Thanks again for the program and everything you all have set up. Hopefully I'll be back again soon. P.S. The checkmate puzzle setup is a massive improvement in my opinion. Is there a plan to do it with the tactics too? I tried looking it up on the Discord, but I'm not the greatest at maneuvering Discord. Good question. Yeah. So yeah, let me give a dojo update. I'll give my eyes a break while I give a nice little dojo update. So, we have been forever trying to get together a tactics trainer as well as like an openings trainer, right? And the tactics trainer, the first thing we really wanted to focus on was could we develop something where the ratings were good? And so far, our checkmate thing, I'm glad you like it, but it's incredibly inflated with the ratings, so we screwed that one up. And the reason we haven't been dealing with it right away is because we're now going to be offering, we got a new project launching January 1st, where we're going to have both classes and profile and game review groups. And I've been doing the profile and game review groups for over a year now. They've really been fun and successful. And, you know, here, for example, I'll spend a couple minutes looking at a profile in a game. But what we do in the game and profile review is we really do a deep dive on a person's training, what they've been doing, and then we look deeply at their games. So here I'm really just able to give a superficial look because we got so many people. But game and profile review groups, you know, you have a bunch of people at your same rating that you'll be working with. And then, of course, you'll be meeting with me as well. All right, so here's Zach G. Hope that answers your question. And Zach G, dang, is a washed dad. I think he means washed up dad, but here we go. He's trying to get a little bit better. I like this guy. And 500, 600, has graduated several times already. He's the mighty Goobus on Chess.com Rapid. And he's got a pretty high puzzle rating. But again, we got this checkmate puzzles is inflated. Okay, clubs. Habits bras. Okay. Maryland. I'm in that one. All right, games. My games. And he wanted me to look at something, I think. Now, he left it. He says he left it in here, but I'm just going to assume it's this one. The Mighty Goobas. He didn't tell me. I don't feel like he told me exactly which one. So, here we got a 30-minute game. And the Mighty Goobas definitely thought more than his opponent. So, already Dojo win. We'll mark that as reviewed. And we'll put it in the game review box. Jepera says, graduate show is the closest I've come to happiness. All right, C4, not a great move. Good moves. Good moves. Weird, right? Bishop H3. D6. Queen C8. Great. Castles. And you played Queen D7. Queen H3 looks pretty good. That looks like a hell of a drug, honestly. Queen D7. B6 I'm not a fan of. Is he really going to take that pawn, for example? Also, Knight A5 looks like, you're giving him some grief here to think about. Okay, B6. Okay. Ooh, okay. I don't like ED4 because you're killing your bishop now on C5. See, he's dead now. 8. F3. Weird. Okay, weird. And now you do this. Now, maybe you should look to break with B5 just to free this, give this guy a little bit of space. Or C6, D5, just to give him a little space. Because he's dead now. A little too frisky for me. And then some fancy moves here. Knight G4. Okay, I like it. I don't think he should take that. Boom. Very nice. If he had thought more, maybe this wouldn't have happened to him. Now, here's our fundamental problem. It looks like B4 is going to be a thing. Now, what should we do, though? I think we could say check to the miserable king and take this thing. Now, it is pawn grabbing, but the main focus for us to grab this coconut is for us to be able to later move the queen and free this man. Free this man. All right, C6. Now, B4 would have scared me. All right, okay. I don't know about that. So he just helped you out. Because look, he freed the bishop. D5, frisky. I think you need to play bishop E3. So you hung a pawn there. Good move. So one of the things I want you guys to see is that this opponent didn't appreciate that the bishop was trapped. And then all of a sudden, black got it out. And black probably doesn't feel any pain. He'd be like, well, I got it out. What was the problem, Cry? The problem was he didn't have to let you out. And a stronger opponent is not going to, give you that option. Now you can just play rook c5. You play rook e4. Rook e7 looks good to me. So here, rook e7, we just win the coconut. Yeah, we're making this way too complicated. Knight e5 now wins our rook on d8. This person isn't thinking. And they're just giving you all their coconuts. All right, so we wipe them off the board. Well done. And the things we want you to recognize are some positional stuff, like not killing your bishop. But most of all, you are on the track where your opponents are moving too fast and you're killing them. You will find later in your career, as you get better, that your opponents won't let your bad piece out. That's much later, though. That's much later, right? You will also find that not only will your opponents play super fast, but they will not develop their pieces like this person did, right? You're going to get a lot of games where, like, they've already, this bishop's already out and he's going to move it again. Bishop h3 makes no sense. And when you get to that moment, you should be like, oh, Cry thinks I could just wail on him here. It's almost game over. It really is a painful momentito once the vampire comes to the wedding, as they say. Right? Okay, good. All right. So, let's move on. Next up, we have the famous Aotus. I was talking about the Game and Profile Review class that we're starting on January 1st. Aotus is part of a beautiful group who have been working together for a while. And honestly, that group was so great. I've been doing a version of the Game and Profile Review. That group was so cool. I was like, we need to make this more dojo-wide. All right, let's first read what he said. It's taken me 4 months to make the next cohort, and I'm both excited to moving up and also happy to say I am less attached to the rating. Rating anxiety and stress when playing people online has been holding me back, clouding my thinking, and making the act of playing chess stressful and unpleasant. This led me to retreat to the cave-based approach of knowledge building without working on my skills. It's funny because I don't think he did this intentionally, but he's a spelunker. This is what I know about Aotus. A spelunker is a dude who goes into caves, and this guy's an accomplished caver, okay? But anyways, cave-based approach. He probably didn't think about it, or maybe he just had cave on the brain, He might have had cave on the brain. I attribute my improvement in the past month to working with dojo members part of Jesse's game review workshop. The game postmortems and review sessions with like-minded adult improvers helped me enormously to improve by reducing the pressure and finding community in the struggle to improve so that I could think more clearly and start enjoying playing again. That is absolutely the biggest reason that my rating has increased. I have a long path ahead, but I'm here for it. Thanks to G-Hit, Ladybug, and Dr. Pop for the lengthy review sessions and good humor they bring to the process, and to Sensei Cry for encouraging and facilitating these opportunities. Oh, thank you. Now, like I said, they have an incredible group. And one thing I'll just end with before we look at his profile is the beginning of the dojo, it's a principle of the dojo was this principle of plus minus equal. And that is to learn anything, you need somebody above you, you need a group to work with, spar with, and you need people below you to teach. And this group has been there's been a lot of great interactions, but this group I feel has been really good. By interactions, I mean groups in the dojo that have gotten together. This group are really amazing. They've gotten together in real life, and so it's kind of like the original kernel of idea that we had in building that principle of the dojo. Dojo has 3 principles. Has been really seen in this group that they have done. All right, here we go. Aotus. Ba-bam. Aotus, by the way, went to the same high school I did. Oh, he's a young pup. He's a young pup. Okay, so you can see that this man has been very busy doing mostly tactics and game review. All right, so clubs. Look at all this. He's in my New Mexico club. He's got that e-board thing going on. If you are playing from home, I think the e-board is a great investment. And then we got some my games. And, all right, I'm a little bit confused which one I should do. Let's pick this one. It's more recent. And, oh, yeah, I guess we should do the G hit. Now, he might have already... So they are playing each other. One of the great things, by the way, of the game and profile review that we just kind of instituted is we're like, right. So everybody, every week one person is kind of up to have their profile reviewed and a game to go over. But now if you imagine they start playing each other, then they get to do the postmortem together, of course, along with the group. And then when we go over it, it's not just about that one person, but we're also talking about the play of the opponent. Okay, so here we go. And I'm sure I'm going to talk to more about Aotus in one of our classes. As we've talked about already, this is the most common thing you're going to see against the Sicilian at this level. And for this level, I don't care at all as long as they develop. Now, G6 is a little inaccurate because it would be better to play E6 to block the bishop's scope on C4. This is fine. C3, frisky. And now he says, I don't want to go for it. I just want to play D3. Okay. But then we probably didn't want to play C3. E5, frisky. Knight H5, this is a blunder. I think, actually. Maybe it's might be actually a little complicated, Jesse, before we get into it. All right, so he plays Knight G5. Now, the first thing we should say is that Knight F6 is indeed frisky because you're allowing E5. And if black wanted to be safe, then a move like E6 followed by Knight E7 or E5 followed by Knight E7 or D6 followed by Knight F6 would all make sense. All right, so Knight F6, E5. This is going to undevelop the black knight. And I definitely would think Knight G4 is probably best, though it's also scary. The question on Knight H5 is, does G4 win the piece? And I guess I'm going to say no. At first I thought it did. But black has D5 exclam. I whack the bishop, and I'm whacking the pawn. So now Knight G5 is played. It is very frisky. It's very frisky. I would prefer D4 to protect your coconut. Castles. Queen F3, and here he is missing something basic, which is Knight E5. So, Aotus's primary crime in this game has been not developing, right? And once you push E5, your move E5 is in itself not a bad move because you're undeveloping the knight on H5, but you got to protect your coconut, right? Got to protect the coconut. All right, so now we blunder this Knight E5 and we're in trouble. And he talks about Bishop F7, but you're losing a piece over there on Bishop F7. So you got to go back to E2. All right, G hit takes. Rook E8, I don't understand that move. I don't know what it does. D5, frisky. What do I want? It's frisky. I'd rather have some... By the way, Rook E8, clear tempo loss. Bishop E3. B6. Okay. E5, he's coming. He's coming. All right, Rook D1, good move. Oh, D4. It looks correct. Knight F3, it's very spicy now. Oh, man. Bishop G4, and now Knight E4. Oh, my gosh. Would F5. F5 has got to be the right move, by the way. Queen C7. Bishop G5. We could just play H6 or F6 calmly. G5, just taking it over. And here, notice Knight G3 is not a terrible move, but the bishop on G3 is actually a victim more than anything else. So we could play f5, f4. F5 tempo the knight and then whack him with f4 too. All right, so knight g3, f g3, and you say this is unclear. To me, black has got to be winning. He's got these bishops. He's got the pawn. And here he comes. He's angry. He's angry. I don't like this at all, this rook a d8. That move I definitely didn't like. Because now you get this. If you can get your knight to e4, and he says something very fancy here. He says stored energy realized. Well, okay. Yeah. Now, I think this knight on e4 is such a big deal that I would want to play e4 and gambit. Yeah, I want to like maybe dc3 and e4 because that knight gets to e4. It's a very strong knight. Okay. Oh my gosh, knight d6. All right, this is very frightening here, what's going on. Rook takes f1 really scares me. Black loses his mind, though, and plays e4. Check to the miserable king. Check. And I think you're just totally winning. All right. Now, you have knight f7. It's getting a little hot. You say knight c8 is a terrible move. It's hard for me to imagine it's actually a terrible move, though. You're doing fine. What are we talking about? d6, good move. d7, good move. d8, good move. Now, he plays king f6. But there's one big question, my friends, and that is, would this be, what's the evaluation of c4? Oh no, we've just discovered the truth. Remember what I said a million years ago? I said, a key problem in the dojo is that when players get to the end game, they move incredibly fast. And we have that right here, my friends. We have that right here. So, for example, king f6, they got plenty of time. Now the game's over after either knight d6 or knight a7. But the big question is c4, and what's going on, my friends? Black might be winning. So the main thing I want you to see is not whatever variations we have going on here, but just to observe how complicated this is. So we have this position as an example. White is winning this position, and the easy way to do it is to play knight d6. Once we commit to d8, it's a tempo loss because the rook has to come back. And when the rook has to come back, was c4 winning? Nobody's thinking about any of this stuff. Nobody's thinking about it at all. Oh, man. All right, so I'm going to go into their thread. We're going to grab this PGN, and we're going to shame them. All right, so just give me a moment. I'm going to go over here, and it's time to shame them. Oh, man. Time usage crimes. Is that really what I wanted? I think that's what I want. Actually, you know what I want? I don't want that. I'm going to remove that attachment. So you can grab at the dojo. You can grab your game and turn it into a link or just the PGN. Is this really what the time usage crimes? All right, I think that's going to work out. I think the PGN fan URL. Anyways, I think the URL. There it is. Time usage crimes. Oh, man. You got to shame them. You got to shame them here. Oh, yeah. All right, so too fast. I've spent more time looking at this position than they did playing it. Take this pawn. Take the pawn on e3. All right, so we got this. Now that was, why didn't we just play A, B? Why so complicated? And they're just playing instantly. All right. Oh no, look at this. Queen G5 stalemate. It's all about time usage. Everything about this game, from both sides' mistakes, was about time usage. And it's funny because we yell at them all the time. I yell at them all the time. But I want you to see as they began the game knowing that time usage was important. And by the way, his opponent, G-Hit, this guy, we have talked so much. We know that his precise problem in chess is that he moves too fast. But you can see they had good intentions at the beginning, but good intentions alone isn't going to do it. And then look at that at the end, when it was complicated. And they went right up to the top, you know? Man. They both ended up with more time than they started with. Oh, man. All right. Man, that's a painful one for the coach. That's a painful one for the coach. All right, I'm going to do a couple more, and then I get a break. I got to have a break. I got to have a timeout after that. I have to have a timeout after that. Timba says, moving forward was harder than I thought. Over the past few weeks, I saw all the other graduations and assumed it wouldn't be that difficult, especially since I've been working through the task for about 3 months now. Lately, I focused on reducing blunders and avoiding fancy moves. Good. That seems to have helped. I really enjoyed the Structured Dojo program, and I'm looking forward to finding more time to play in the round-robin event again. Beautiful stuff. There it is. Timo from Hamburg. So, he's 48, almost as old as me. He's going to try to beat the retirement home geezer someday. Yeah, now, by the way, 3 months for graduation, that's pretty good, man. You know, that's pretty good. All right, so we've got some beautiful clubs. I want to see a Hamburg club. Yeah, I got to play one. I only got to go to Hamburg once. That was a Bundesliga, one of my last Bundesliga events way back in the day. So here we go. This is Timba, and this was submitted just a second ago. And here we see people moving a little fast here, but thankfully, we're not the main criminal here. When you play people online in a 30-minute game, it is not uncommon that you get this kind of thing where they aren't really thinking at all. Okay, so we'll mark it as reviewed, and we'll go over here to the game review. Good. Poor. Good move. Poor. Poor. All right, so random threat, good move. Poor move. Poor move. There we go. D4, okay. Bishop H3, fine. Ooh, I don't like that from him. This is allowing your knight to get active. You take with the bishop. Oh, poor move. Fine. I don't know what they're doing. At any point, we could play Queen G2 to stop them from castling. They're going to do that, though. No need. Check. Come on in. Knight F5. That can't be bad. Good move. Now, why didn't we take on G3? You played Rook E8 very quickly. You just play like Knight G3, and isn't he cooked? He's just totally cooked. One of those, either one of those knights, they're totally cooked. Bam! This is what happens when you play. Welcome to the dojo, son. Maybe next time, Armadajo, you're going to take a little bit more time on the clock. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Here's a great rap video my friend David Pruce made.
Welcome
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Icy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practice his rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Icy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. All
right, my friends, we are back. As I've said, I'm not convinced I'm going to finish today. I'll do my best, but it doesn't have to happen. Look at all these people. I might not happen. It might not happen, son. All right, I will do it tomorrow, though, whatever I can't finish today. Next up, we have Jay Ham. Bit poetic that I practiced king and rook yesterday and ended up graduating by delivering one. There we go. There we go. All right, so here we go. Joined the dojo just a little while ago. Graduated already twice. All right, clubs, nothing. Games, ba-bam. Here we got one. I have a feeling this might be a king and rook mate. We got a time graph, and thank you very much, dojo. Look at that. Playing some chump, and they do not use their time. So that's what we like to see. Let's go to the game review template. And here we go. You're doing great. All right, this is a small mistake, knight d4, because we're helping the queen really develop. Your opponent's doing weird stuff. I don't understand b6. You're also not developing. Queen a5, sure. Frisky from white to play b4. What's the problem with b4? He's not developing. Good. Good. I would have preferred castles. Your opponent is not developing. I don't think they should be doing this, by the way. All right. So I think they should take on e7. The problem with taking on d5 is he doesn't want to develop. He really just doesn't. Oh, he refuses to develop. Full refusal. Development refusal. Queen d6. Queen d3. I mean, honestly, I think they should be happy with the queen trade here. They're getting hosed. And I think you probably had a, well, I don't know if it's a better move, but queen f6 looks really hard for him to meet. Okay, so we go to this endgame. He still doesn't want to develop. Check, good move. Check, good move. And you snip. Okay. Okay. Bishop c5 now. I really want the bishop c5. You do too. Pin and win, baby. Oh, nice move. Okay. A great rule of thumb is never take the pinned piece. Okay? So, no need to take it. So, for example, here, what do we want you to do? Play something like a4. You think about it, too, here. the only way out of this pin is for him to move the king. And so if we played f5, he'd just be stuck for life. There's no moves. And then we're going to advance it, and then we'll take it. No rush. Can't complain too much of what you did, though. Is this the king and rook mate? No. GG's. Okay. Great. Well done. And let's continue here with the grad show. This next up is Sarong. Reached 1050, probably chess comp, but I'm still not very sure against similar rated opponents. A lot of times I lose to tactics. And when I win, it's like the opponent has blundered a piece. By the way, at this level, you're going to get every game, somebody's going to blunder something. Every game. All right. So Sarong, here we go. All right, looking great. We got some club action going here. Nope. He wants to get better at chess. Well, Sarong, you joined fairly recently. Your main first task is to annotate a game. Next up, we got the famous Orc Slayer. He's graduated a bunch of times. All right, so looking good, Orc Slayer. 65 years old. Started playing chess seriously in 2025. All right. You can see he kind of took a little bit of a break here with his training, but he's come back to it. Maybe he's logging it more religiously now. Very impressive for an old dude to be making progress. He's in that famous 50-plus club. Nice. I'm hoping to get 200 people in there, by the way. All right, so my games. Orc Slayer. So great annotations, at least optically. Oh, and look at this. Look at this. So we'll see what happened on move 25. But up through move 25, White played well with the clock. And then we're going to see what happened. In fact, I'll leave this template open. Finvar says 65 is so young. We're going to leave this template open just to see what happened. And as is typical, our opponents might not be thinking at all. All right, let's get into this game here a little bit. Okay. At no point in this does he say anything about time. It looks to me like time was the major story. Okay, a little bit weird to play e6. Sometimes this turns into a hippo. But as they say, openings named after animals are usually not that good. I love your development. You're doing great. And now you could have parked your bishop on c6. All right, e5. A little frisky. I don't like it. Knight e7. I don't like it. He could have b5'd you. Bishop g5. You're developing nicely. Bishop f6. I kind of like it. Now, that is a very interesting move. Bishop c6. Rook b8. Knight e4. You are playing with fire, my friend. So, it looks like knight f6 followed by knight c6 would at least win a pawn for black. So that's definitely a mistake. Your opponent is moving too fast and doesn't see it. Boom, boom, boom. Again, I'm worried you're going to lose a pawn with bishop f6 followed by knight d5. Your opponent plays too fast, doesn't see it. Rook fd1. Now this is a weird move. If for no other reason, then you could have put, it's blocking the other rook in. Why aren't we taking this coconut and then winning this pawn? That's my question. All right, so he does this thing, and I thought knight d5, he's going to win the pawn. I guess he's going to win the pawn anyway. No. All right, b3, played a little too fast. You could have played g4, trapping that knight. So we missed that. B3, I don't know what it does. Now we're down a pawn. Okay. C5's abysmal. Snip, snap, A, B, and now you at least get your rook in. I don't understand that move. Now you play G4. I don't understand. Okay, so now we've got an endgame. Now, as I've said before, common mistake in the dojo is when people get to the endgame, they stop thinking entirely. Why did I leave the time graph open? Because I had a feeling we were going to end up here. Where are we, my friends? We're over here, move 27. Look at this. So they stop thinking. It's as if they're going to claim to me that you don't have to think in the endgame, that it's all obvious. In fact, it's the exact opposite. And I think because it's so hard with the calculation in the endgame, my theory is that's the main reason people stop thinking, because it's too intense to think. It's very complicated in this position of exactly what to do for black. Very complicated. All right, F6. Very controversial. Now this allows our king to get to E5 if we want. So now this allows the black king to come to F6. He goes there. Looks like a mistake. Rook A6 check. King E5. Now white's actually better. Thank you very much. That's a blunder. Now we are winning. He plays C4. King D5 is also winning directly. Now King F6 wins directly. That's also winning. So here we go. Chess should be an easy game from here. There we go. Simple chess. Check. Mate. Now he wanted to do Queen G6, but this is good enough. So one of the nice things I want people to see, okay, is that when you look at games from players who are around your same level, you're getting the mistakes that you'd be making, and you're getting to see the mistakes of the players you are ultimately going to be playing against, right? And up to 1200, I promise you, it is three things. It is just three things. Board vision, that means people hanging their stuff. 2, using your time. The main reason you want to use your time is not to hang your stuff. And number 3, development. And we saw already so many games where people aren't developing. And those are listed in order of importance. Okay, so I'll mark this as reviewed. And we're going to continue to Spanish Johnny. It's been really tough these last few months because I've had time to study, and I've also gone through a significant series of losses. Now I need to try to keep studying methodically in order to improve, even if it's slowly. Thank you, ChessDojo. Well, you did make it, Spanish Johnny. You did make it, so that's a good thing. So, that the FIDE rating is so interesting at the very bottom because he's got a rating of 1409, but it's it's only normalized to our 997. It seems insane to me. Okay. On our to-do list, by the way, is to do a new rating conversion calculation, because eventually it's going to shake out. That this FIDE rating is going to shake out a little bit, especially I think at the lower end to a different normalized rating. Okay, so Spanish Johnny is definitely working at it, and ever since they joined in May of this month, they've been crushing it. So let's see. Clubs, no clubs. Tell us something about yourself, Spanish Johnny. And this is a rated game against Luca. Let's go look over here. So we got a time graph here, 1 hour plus 30. I'm going to guess this is a rated tournament, like an OTB tournament. Let's keep the time graph up for a second. All right, so French defense. Bishop E3 is totally weird. B6 is totally weird. Of course, you should take the pawn. Still, stake the pawn, but now basically white is determined to do weird things. I don't understand any of it. I don't understand any of it. All right. C4, I don't know. I don't know. So he talks about CD4, but that's really complicated. I understand why you played C4. Now you finally take. It's weird though. Why are we taking now? Because couldn't he just play FE4? I don't understand. Now you're doing great. I don't know. I don't understand white at all. Why don't they develop their pieces? Remember what I said. I said they're not going to develop their pieces. This guy's not developing his pieces. Good moves by black. I don't understand A4. Put your rook on E8. Go queen on E7. Fine. Probably good. We need to calculate a little bit on this one. I don't understand rook D1. Why wouldn't you, put your business on where you'd want to put your business, right? Queen E3. Too fast, he says. Terrible move. He says knight F1 wins immediately. So look, the problem with queen E3 first is a positional problem before we get to the tactical problem. The positional problem is that the white king is just so open. So why would we ever want to trade our queens? Are you as lost as you think you are? And you have knight F1, right? And now, so rook Fe8 is the true massive blunder in terms of tactics. Now we're toast. And he says this move secures the draw. I don't understand. Why is this a draw? Why isn't white winning this position? I don't know. I don't know. So totally weird game. I want to say I don't understand anything about this game at all. I don't understand this at all. There's nothing about this game I understand. A lot of times I have a sense of what's going on, but I have no idea. I have no idea. Nose is in the chat. He also doesn't know. I don't understand the result. I don't understand what white was thinking. A lot of times I'm good. Even when somebody makes a mistake, I kind of have a sense of like why, what happened, that whole story. But here I do not have a story. Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, so we're going to move on. Sometimes I don't understand. Sometimes I don't get it. All right. Austin Castles says, well, I think it's time to jump up. Nose thinks he's trolling me. I don't think Spanish Johnny is trolling me, but I honestly don't know. All right, my bliss is starting to catch up to my rapidly. Generally, this means my rapid is a bit underrated. I guess. Chess improvement is a strange beast. You don't feel that you've gotten stronger, yet rating proves you have. Right. I started playing chess in 2022, quickly became 193 ELO, ChessCom Rapid. Now, almost 4 years later, I'm sitting at 1350. Beautiful. The longer I play, I can appreciate that and take some pride in it. The game ain't easy. A few things I think I've done well. 1, consistency. 2, tactics. 3, competitiveness. 4, chess culture. 5, patience. 6, have helped a friend. 7, I value time and initiative more than ever. What I haven't done well, classical games, ego anxiety, itching to play some OTB. At the new year, I tend to sign up some of the dojo tournaments, get more involved with my cohort. I had a really bad tournament a couple years ago at Charlotte Open, where I did get to meet Kostya and Arditsky and Rosen. And it's time to build a bridge and get over it. Okay. 2, Chernev. I'm recalcitrant by nature. I spend more time arguing with him in my head than just learning. When I go over the games with a stronger player, it's enjoyable. By myself, however, not so much. 3, letting emotion, ego get in the way of playing, being scared to lose. Notes for the dojo. I've got none. Big fan of this program. Wasted most of 24, mid 25 playing Blitz on my phone and not improving. Happy to be back here. Putting in the work just works. Really love to see what Jesse, David, and Kosti have built. Let's mention Jack. Come a long way from the NDM. Come a long way from the Google cohort spreadsheet. Final note, if anyone from the lower cohort sees this and would like any help completing your sparring, play middle games, message me. More than happy to pay it forward. That's right. Nose. We're going to get your Morphe study in, I'm pretty sure. You know, people always think like it's far away, but May is coming. May is coming soon, and then we reboot the dojo there. I thought this was pretty insightful analysis of what's going on, and it's interesting how psychological all of this is for Austin Castles. But let's go look at Austin Castles. The guy is, he's going up. He's going up a lot and has been here since 24. Started logging his business a little bit more recently. Took a huge break over here, as he said. But now he is up there at 1365. He's done a little bit of OTB, but as he's been traumatized by the OTB. Okay. Clubs. We got Charlotte. He's in Charlotte. So he's in he's in a beautiful chess city. He's in Vietnam, though. Maybe he's from Charlotte. Okay, he's got some good goals here. I like what he's saying. All right, do we have games? He said that maybe he didn't. So this is from May 1st, so too long ago. But we're going to encourage him to get some more recent games. All right, ba-boom. Let's continue. Next up, we got the doc. Dedicated structure to keep me honest and not distracted by openings. Yes, sir. This is the doc. American by birth, Australian by choice. Adult improver. The brain isn't as fast as it used to be. I hear that. That's interesting to go to Australia. I would love to hear more about that. I can imagine Australia being really cool. I was listening to an interview with my favorite actor from down there. Why can't I put his name on? The Gladiator dude, That guy's amazing. Anyways, he was saying, Australia is bigger, about the size of mainland U.S., and it's got like the population of Southern California. And it's stunning to think about that, man. That's a lot of open land, dude. That is a lot of open land. Whew. All right, here we go. Clubs. Games. My games. All right, let's take a look against PN here. So he's trying to do openings, he says. We don't have times. Again, we can get those times done. Let's go over here. We'll mark this as reviewed, and we'll cruise through this game. Little weird. But okay. D3. You're doing fine now. The question was, could White have taken that coconut on E5? A little weird. I want you to develop. But you're doing fine. Okay, so now he's going to get frisky with you. And you just go loco in La Cabeza here. I don't like it. Would be good to see some timestamps here. ED followed by DE at least gives him an isolated pawn to work with. I don't understand A4. That's complicated too right there. That's just, why not just take back? All right, so now White's better. Knight takes D4. Looks a little bit more natural, but okay. Queen B8, I don't get it. Maybe a reasonable move. Okay, it's gone interesting. Bishop D3. Whew. Things are spicy. F5. Oh my gosh. All right, we're creating a lot of weaknesses when we play f5. Good move. Has to be good move. Snips happen. Bishop d8. Oh my gosh, this is now it's spicy. Now we're dealing with some full spice. All right, we need more annotations here, Doc, because this is a very complicated position, and I just want you to see, like, you didn't do anything here. I don't know what's happening. This one's hard. He's got a lot of different options here. Right? He played knight g5, bishop g5, the whole business. All right. Maybe even knight d6. I don't know. So here he comes with his famous knight d6. Snip. Snop. Oh my gosh. Now he's got to do something like this. Oh, this is too hectic for me. Oh, that's a nice move right there, rook a8. So now you're winning. g3, terrible move. Now it's just a win. Good. 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 Knight e4, a little controversial because of this, but there's no hurry. You're fine. Oh, that wasn't it. I don't like b6. Just bring your king in. Good moves. Just take the coconuts. And he resigns. Well, you'd think if he was not going to resign earlier, he was going to resign. He would resign now, but there it is. Okay, Doc. So a couple things. It would be great if we get some timestamps, and then you're playing some really complicated stuff. I found it hard to understand. Like, explain what you see happening on a lot of these moves. I think that will help you a lot, going down the road. And your opponents, what are they going to do? They're going to do weird moves like a4. And it's like, oh, buddy, there's all this tension. I don't know what white should do, but it's not a4. Okay, good. Here we go. Next up, we got C-Mac. Happy grad day to beloved bookkeeper. Yeah. All right. Now, I believe, did I just do C-Mac? This is where I'm at. I can't even remember. I think I already pulled up C-Mac. C-Mac is not telling us much. Looks like they just got here. So I think there's not going to be anything. Welcome to the dojo, C-Mac. Glad you're here. Next up, we have hell to cap. I don't know what that means. Let's go look at hell to cap. And hell to cap, that's sporadic. Putting of stuff. Joined in April. We got the clubs. We got some games. We might not have any games here. Hell to cap. Hell to cap. We want to see more of your stuff, bud. More of the games. All that. Ace Bolf is up next. He says it's probably the strongest game I've ever played. All right, we can copy and paste that, I guess. I think that's what he wants me to do. In general, it's not your strongest game that I want to see. It's oh, wait a sec, Ray. I need to get this corrected. Move down here. The game I want to see is, one where you've done some deep work on it. But all right. Clubs. Quebec, CFC. Is this the same one we're going to get? I don't know. Let's put in his business. Ace both. Let's see. Bam. So this is his strongest game that he's really in love with. He's playing an unrated, I guess. Do we got times? We don't have times. Let's see what's going on with this thing. Okay. Okay. I don't understand, but okay. I don't get it. Maybe. Good move. Bishop f7. All right. By the way, I like these notes because this is definitely like a key momentito here. Right. So, bishop f7, and the problem is now the bishop is trapped. So he says he's up a pawn in material, but the minors are very strong, the black minor pieces. I don't know about that move. Good move. Good move. Get the rooks out. Take it. Good. I'll trade that thing off. Okay. Oh, good move. We want to trade that guy. Yeah. Maybe rook a1 now. Good move. Queen c5, simple and strong. I like it. All right. So now, one of the things that's curious here is this is actually very hard to assess, this position. White's done well to get where they have, but the two bishops against the rook are kind of notorious for being a real problem for the rook. So there's a lot of interesting endgames with bishop and knight versus rook, but the two bishops versus the rook, it can be a real pain. And so, for example, here, I don't think it's equal. Let me put it this way. I don't know what it is, but it's not equal. For one, black can prevent the communication with the pawn on c5 and then win this coconut. Once that coconut falls, it's going to be a hard road. Yeah. So definitely not a draw. They were like, this is a draw. So there it was. That was a good game. That was good annotations. And this was definitely your key mistake here. Bishop f7. Okay. Okay. So we have Skebix asking, quick question. I want to join the group classes, but I'm only available for January and February. Yeah, totally. No problem, Skebix. Yeah. And let me just say about the classes we have going on. So we eventually, our dream is for it to be just this constant rolling thing. Okay. What do I mean by that? So if you joined in January 15th, you would go to February 15th. But what we want to do is we want this first month to, there's like some technological questions, how it's going to work questions, culture questions. And so we want to just do it for a month and then decide things like the year. How does the year look, for a yearly plan, for example, and all that other stuff. But the fact of like going in and out of it, that'll never be a problem. Yeah. Okay. And I think, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow to see what the initial numbers are. But at the moment, I'm kind of thinking we don't even want it to be that big for January. Because I think it'll be super cool. I want people who are really invested in it at first, especially the game and profile review stuff. It's just been such a cool thing. And then I think it would be good for us to organically kind of grow it slowly, just so that we make sure we kind of have some nice quality control over the thing. Okay, well done. We're going to mark that as reviewed. And next up, we have GD Guitar. It's funny, there was another guy. We have Blue Guitar Gambit. We got some guitars in the program. And so let's read here. I was a fairly active player of chess as a teenager, reaching a peak of about 1800 on Chess.com. But I stopped playing to focus on college. Okay, great. So, joined September, gone up a ton of points. We got some clubs going on here, loads of clubs. Out in New England over there, New Hampshire, Aphantasia, beautiful. All right, games, my games. Then we got Genie Guitar over here. And we got, very nice time graph. Simple thing here, we're going to say a couple things we'll note. As we go up the ladder, we will notice people using their time better. Right? So really, when we start right around, I would say, 1250 chess.com is when you start seeing people not hang their pieces as much. And also, a little later than that, you start seeing people take their time, but you start seeing it more and more. Okay. Also, we want to say Jeannie is playing on the Chess Up 2. So that's one of these boards that I think are really cool for players who want to play online but not be distracted by a computer. I know I couldn't play ever a serious game. I could play Blitz. I can't play a serious game online. Okay. So now Jeannie Guitar is doing some serious opening work. And Jeannie is, kind of right at the level where you're kind of allowed to do a little bit of opening work. Okay, but to do a whole Shankland course, I don't know. I think as long as we could play knight f6 just on principle, right? You could say it's time to develop our pieces. Your opponent, by the way, is not on the level yet and hangs a piece. So you said thank you very much. I hope you said thank you anyway. Castles. Simple and strong chess. Good move. H3. Hard to know what to do. It's a hard road for them. You're just making simple developing moves. Great. Bishop c5. I would have preferred moving the bishop somewhere, but okay. That isn't it. Bishop h3. Now you're getting way too fancy, Jeannie. You're right. I didn't calculate this move deeply, though I probably should have. But rather made the decision to play it based on positional factors. I don't get it. Jeannie, what are we doing? What are we doing? Positional factors. You're up a piece, Jeannie. You're up a piece, Jeannie. So, when you're up a piece, this is very important. You have one simple goal, okay? And that is to say, I want to trade everything off and make my life as easy as possible. Just as simple as possible. So, you play knight b5, as you wrote in their notes, c6, queen b6. And you wrote clear advantage to black, but that's a winning position. Not only are you up a piece, but you're threatening this coconut and that coconut. Completely winning. This is way complicated. Oh my gosh. I don't understand GH3. I mean, maybe you got some weird line there. I don't get it. It's too complicated for me. If you're up a piece, you should never unless something really weird's happening. Your opponent somehow has compensation for the piece. You should never even think about some weird bishop h3. The game's already over. You've already won. You just need to sail it home. You got that clear line of sight to the harbor, and you're just sailing it into the harbor. You don't need to go crazy. All right, so now things have gone loco. And now it's a little, you're still doing great, but it's gotten a little scary. I would love if you could trade queens for me now here, just to, relieve my anxiety. Queen g4. See, that's what I want. It's too scary for me now. Queen g4. There you go. All right, so now we're up. So we at least have a coconut here. Knight f2. Your opponent's just hanging pieces everywhere. Now, knight f2 is in fact a frisky move because it's not clear your knight's getting out. And you now play d5. This scares me to bejeezles, though, because when you play d5, the h7 coconut is going to be hanging. This one. Now, maybe it's a good move. Maybe we can make a claim that I'm going to do this and everything's great. Maybe that's true, but it's getting more complicated than I wanted it to be, of course. Rook f1, that isn't it. Now, de4, no good. Just take with a knight. You're making too complicated. No, it's too complicated. Oh, no. So this is our second endgame where we got the two bishops, and they are mean against the rooks. They are really mean. So, bishop g5, I would have preferred bishop e3. Good move. Rook b5, I guess. I don't know what it does. Check to the miserable king. a5, I guess. Notice that white wasn't really threatening to take that because we have things like rook a8. Now, your challenge here is going to be to advance these pawns without getting wrecked by the bishops. And it's honestly not that easy. A3 makes no sense to me. Okay. Okay, here we come. Your intention isn't fundamentally right. B4, I guess. Good move. I like H6 a lot. King H7, please. Good. Rook over. Now, we need to organize G5 without losing our coconut. I think that's okay. Just G6. No, don't play G6, Jesse. Good move. Go back. Oh, just go back to safety, H7. Good move. White should have tried to not let you have that. Good move. There we go. Now we're in control. Whew, my anxiety has gone down a little bit here. E3. Oh, that's beautiful pawn chain now. Rook G7, probably. Rook D4, Jesse, don't do it. I'll give you an example of what happens to you with the bishops. So notice that it's actually kind of hard, this position. Yeah. So probably we just need to go back. Those bishops are still strong. Now the bishops are messing with us. Bishop B2. Check. I guess. I don't know. Check. And we just hung all of our coconuts. And now the problem is those bishops are really terrifying. Oh my God. I'm getting a heart attack here. Check. Rook D1. Oh man. I don't know. There's a lot to be said here that I don't understand. Like bishop F7 stuff. There's no bishop F7, Jesse. The rook's still on it. What about rook H2 stuff? And here stuff. I don't know. Check to the miserable king. It's not quite a check. C5. Rook E3. Good move. By the way, it's great that you guys used your time. You still had a lot of time here to find things like this, though, right? At any point, they could have played that rook H1 thing, and now we got him. Oh, man, Genie Guitar. Genie Guitar. Oh, man. Oh. Okay, that was hard for me. That was hard. Okay, so that was an emotional experience for me, Genie Guitar. I'm gonna mark it as reviewed. We're gonna go back to the grad show. Good annotations. Great that you're here. And remember, at this stage in your development, it's not like Sam Shanklin's opening course. Sam Shanklin, a friend of the dojo. I'm not saying anything bad about his opening course. I'm saying what's going on here is the reason you don't need to be studying openings is because your opponent is going to be hanging stuff like something like knight takes d4. And then what we want from you is the practice in being able to finish those positions, not doing anything crazy. Not doing anything. Once we win the piece, we want to make it easy. Don't want to give me a heart attack. Oh, gosh, okay. I don't know why that one got me going. There was another one that didn't make sense earlier. Maybe that primed me for just being a little bit lost. Okay, gosh, we got a lot to go here. Next up, we got Matt. Matt looks like he just got here. Clubs. Nothing. Games. Nothing. Okay, Matt, welcome to the dojo. Next up, we got Ben Shredges, a.k.a. Sherbs. And Sherbs has been around for a while, hero of the dojo. Graduated many times. Let's read what he writes. Got a little burnt out early this year with a combination of too much chess while taking on significant work projects. Didn't stop playing online puzzles entirely, but no classical games between May and November. Played in the pool on Lee Chess to get unprovisional again and crossed the rating threshold. Finally had a serious game on 11/29, which I drew, giving the confidence to hit that graduation button. All in all, I feel pretty much right where I left off, but need to continue brushing up on tactics and getting back into the sweat work. Very good. All right. It's bad enough to get run over, but to get run over by a corpse is horrible, says Jacques Mises. Oh, I like that one. Nice. So, yeah, Sherbs has been here forever. Mises played some great games back in the day. Some really beautiful attacking games. All right, you can see it's like kind of like an EKG over here. You know, doo-doo. He's got a break. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. He takes a little break like a heart, and then he goes for it. He takes a break and he does it again. Sweet Blue says, "I got this." We'll see. We'll see. All right. Sherbs has been here forever. He's got some clubs going on. He's got some games. Let's go my games. All right. So, this one's definitely the one we're going to do. It's very recent. Do we got a time graph? We do. All right. So, very spicy stuff. We're going to see Ben thought forever on move 26. We'll see what that's about. CTCL 6030 game. I should probably know what CTCL means. It doesn't immediately hit me. Okay. So here we go. Again, this is what you get often when you play the Sicilian. And D5 is definitely what we want to do. So. Now, look, this master's database thing. No, why do you play D5? It has nothing to do with master's database. It has the fact to do that this is a developing move, and we're going to whack the bishop for free. That's why we're doing it. Poor move. Why? Because you already moved a pawn to develop the bishop. Okay, White's playing it nice and slow. Development. Okay. Poor move, not developing. And now B4, he says he played that too slow. I don't know if I like B4, though, because, why are we doing it? AB. Now he's got some nice center pawns against us. Not sure I get that one. Good, probably a good move, D4. And now knight takes D4. This is probably not going to be great. We understand what you were dreaming about here. But if he just moves the bishop, he's going to have the better everything. Yeah. Good play by White. Some very frisky things happening here. D3, do I get this? No, I don't get it. Okay, so we're down to coconut. And we got to wonder if rook B1 is going to crush us. Let me just say, I don't know for sure about anything here, but this is very complicated. Now, Black was in fact the one, or White was the one, of course, who took forever on this move 27. Spent 29 minutes on it, so half of his time. And it looks like White is simply winning. I don't know. Yeah, so White's winning. People are making it complicated. People are making it complicated. But it is completely winning here. I don't know why. It was totally unnecessary to allow Black to take on F2. And now I think we have a draw. Yeah. So, we got this. It wasn't a fatal blunder. It was a drawing blunder. White thought a little bit too long. Did have the 30-second increment, so should have been able to hold it together. Ultimately, allowing counterplay on F2 when there was no need at all to be allowing any of this stuff here. There's no reason this needs to hang, right? All right, here we go. Well, it's not that I went so fast. There was a couple people who didn't have any games, yellow. They don't have any games, then it goes quick. Other times it goes really long. So here he comes. Ryan says, admittedly, I'm a lot better online than I am OTB, which explains why I've graduated numerous times online after starting to play rapid chess. My OTB FIDE places me in the 900 cohort. Thank you, ChessDojo, for the structure, plan, and community of chess players. Analyze this game, please. All right, we'll do that. Now, one thing, again, I want to stress, if you're at the lower end of the FIDE rating spectrum, which is 1400, I'm pretty sure our rating conversion is not great because Nose, who might be still in the chat, did that for us at a time when I think we need to redo it. I'm pretty sure we need to redo it because things have shifted since that happened. All right, so here's Ryan. I have hopefully copied his game correctly. And he joined in May, but it's only started logging his stuff now. As he said, his FIDE rating puts him, see, it's not, I don't like that conversion. It doesn't feel right to me. It feels suspicious. All right, we got some games. Oh, we're going to do his game here. He asked for it, so let's go here. Ba-bam. All right, do we have a time graph? Oh. My friends. One of the things he said, by the way, he said, my OTB is not as strong as my blitz. And what I want you to see from this time graph is when you play OTB, your opponents are generally going to think a little longer. Here you're playing a chump who is just thinking as little as you are. So you guys might as well be playing blitz chess over here. Right? If you had used your time, he as well, of course you're going to be playing much better. Both sides. Oh, it's complicated to me. I don't know. I don't know how these people move so fast. I don't know how they move so fast. All right, so black is just winning after all that. White's making superficial moves. Can we just play rook a d8? Rook a d8. Why do we want rook a d8? It guarantees us a trade of the rook. I don't know why I'm not allowed to play rook a d8. In any case, we're winning. Okay, my friends. My friends. Come on now. Come on. We can do better than this. So you will go up when you get that clock. A little bit more correct. Oh, we have the famous Jet Perret. He might not be in the chat anymore, by the way. He was here earlier. He said something like, the graduate show is the only thing that makes me happy in life. I wasn't quite that, but he said something like that. All right, let's do this, and then we'll take a little break. Jet Perret is still here. Great. He says, good Lord, it's good to be back after a few months off. Recently, I've been getting to grips with the best way to structure my training. I'm doing a round robin, loving the dojo. Love the grad show. Kostya, David, and Cry. The holy trinity of chess improvement. I'm going 100% classical time control for this new cohort. I'm going to give them the Boomer Notebook. They aren't ready for the Boomer Notebook. My recent keys to improvement are 1. Drilling 10 to 20 minutes of easy chess tempo tactics every day, like I'm brushing my teeth. Great. Completing something fully before moving on. Great. 3, I think it's probably optimal to do the work in 45-minute stints. Okay. Also, the dojo is completely right about openings. I've been trying to adopt the Scotch as an opening for black and white. I've had it in 9 in 58 games. Nearly all of those games departed from a theoretical line on move 4. It would have been a massive misallocation of time to work on opening theory. For the first time in a while, I do actually feel I'm improving a bit, which is really encouraging. moving on from my last cohort was an enormous effort. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, work. That's from David Bruce's song, of course. P.S. My most recent win against Willie Wipeout is probably my most interesting recent game. The notes are a bit of a mess because we analyze it together after the game. Great. All right, we'll look at that game. Here's Jay Perra. As you can see, Jay Perra took a break in the summer. And the right hand of the screen, you can't fully see him, but he has, since October, been on it basically every day. Okay, so, Jeb Perra, Judo black belt. Okay, beautiful. He's gone full boomer. So, this is great, and has graduated once before. Joined us September 24. All right, so he's in England. If we look at ratings, does he have an English rating? Yeah, he does over there, 1303. So commensurate with his ChessCom rating. And I think it's Willie Wipeout is the game I'm looking for. Willie Wipeout, there he is. Ba-bam. All right, we'll take a look here. And pretty good time usage from both. And white is going to get dinged for moving a little slow, which actually the first time today we're seeing somebody moving a little slow. I wouldn't worry about that for him, though, at least not at the moment. Okay, so let's go to the game review template. We'll mark this as reviewed, and we're going to do it. Good chess. Good chess. Fine. You can do anything as long as you develop a piece. I'm not going to yell at you. Okay. Okay. Terrible move, not developing. And now you talk about bishop f3. I like it. Queen d3. Now, here we're going to claim that black is equal. I don't think black is equal. Let's go. e5, good move. Knight e4, good move. And now, big question for black, what they want to do. They can either lose a tempo with knight takes c3 or retain their good bishop, or rather, lose a tempo and retain their good bishop with knight c3, or play bishop c3 and lose their bishop. I guess consider knight c5 as well. The problem with this move, bishop takes, pawn takes, is he just lost his beautiful, amazing dark square bishop, which is in general not a good thing. All right, so b5 was played. Okay. Then bishop f3 happens. b5, by the way, very frisky because it's saying that it doesn't matter that white has so much extra time. Now, why is white's position better? Because the bishop on c8 is terrible, because white's king position is better than black's. Little space as well. All right, we got a lot of different plans here. A basic one would be knight c6 followed by bishop d4, aiming for f5. The spiciest, though, by far, has got to be a4. And it's spicy, why? Because first we just want to open it up before the guy castles. But it's spicy because we allow knight c5. I don't know where to put the queen yet. Let's just put her here for a second. And then allow this move. The problem is, though, that bishop, I don't know if I'm black, if I like that bishop, that knight cruising all around. Well, my king's not doing his thing. So, for example, bishop d3, and the queen gets out, and black might be getting mate. It definitely has a problem on the dark squares. So what am I saying? We got a bunch of different plans here as white. Your bishop f3 is interesting. And right, I guess there's some mistakes with knight takes e6, thinking that's a win. It doesn't seem like it's a win, does it? Then Joe talks about knight takes b5, exclam. Looks correct. Looks correct. So wait a second. Maybe bishop f3 is just simple and strong. And I was being wild. I trusted you. I trusted you that it didn't work or something. Okay. So what's the point? We're saying that wherever the knight moves, especially this square, it's the only one I really care about, we have knight b5. Now, if that's the case, what black should play is bishop b7. So if you take, you're just being a fool, because you're going to open up this thing. That's an old French player's trick right there. Okay, so knight c5, I guess that is a mistake. And here knight takes b5, exclam, good move. Queen d2, and then black says, or somebody says that that black is better here. It's hard for me to imagine. That bishop on e3 is too strong. You play bishop f2, I like queen f2. The queen in general wants to go towards the king side. Variation might go queen, knight, no you don't get my bishop. And then we can play for queen g3 later, f5 later, a4 at some point. All right, bishop f2. Bishop b7. I don't know. Maybe knight a4. I don't like that move. Knight a4. Bishop d4. Okay. By the way, knight e4 here, probably for black. Queen f2. Knight a5. So notice that the problem here with knight a5 is like the knight was great on c4, and our knight on b3 is a chump. f5. That's a nice looking move. Oh, that's getting spicy. Oh, it looks like mate to me. Okay, here we come. I think that's a good move. I think that's probably a good move. Yeah, buddy. Mate. Yeah. Well, and what's cool about this game, Jepera, is what eventually happens, and maybe out of desperation, is you're like, oh, it's a French structure, and I have to attack. And your opponent was just oblivious the whole game, not thinking about their development, you know. So Laszlo Polgar says hello. That's right. Yeah, great game. That was a good game. Very interesting. Hopefully I said some interesting, constructive things for you there. Okay, I got to take a break. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be back in a little bit. Here's a rap my friend David did. Let's just look quickly. Are we going to finish this thing? Yeah, we'll probably get done today. We'll probably get done. We have a podcast at 3 that I got to do too, so I got to be fresh for that. All right, I'll be back in a second.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
pack, and
his
he got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 all accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices, rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for ELO farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points.
Masky Chess says, what is this? Is this an outro or what? Well, this is a rap that David Proust wrote years ago. I love playing the thing whenever I have to take a break. So, outro? No, I don't do no outros. When I go out, I just go out. Next up, we got David Rockcliffe. Doesn't say anything. Let's see what's going on with David Rockcliffe. Joined September. Has gone up numerous points. Looking pretty good. Gets some clubs. He's in the UK as well. UK is pretty well represented in terms of people who have graduated. And looks like it's mostly online games or all online games. And there we got a little time graph here. David Rockcliffe might be wanting to work a little bit on his time. So this is a game from somebody in the dojo. Yellow says, is there a list of people somewhere who signed up to the January? I'm still probably considering it. Not for January, but maybe in a later month. Would love to know who else is there, who would be in my group. That's a fair question. We're going to meet tomorrow, and I'm going to get more information on that. I think that might be something we could do. The thing about, like, let's say something like that, of a list of people, that's just another, let's call it an organizational thing that we're going to get some institutional knowledge of how it works in that month of January, right? We're going to begin to figure out things like that. Yeah. But I think ideally it would be nice to put that kind of list together. Okay, so here we go. David Rockcliffe, at least superficially, did not take their time on this one. All right. A little weird not to play knight c3. Okay. Is it a crime? I don't know. So black went for it. Or b8. I don't know. I don't get it. f3 seems unnatural. Why would we play f3? The whole idea of this setup, by the way, is that the bishop holds the pawn, and so you don't need to, play f3. Good. I don't understand black's moves, by the way. Bishop f1, I kind of like it. b4. In general, I like it. It could become a little hectic here. All right, game has gone hectic. Here we go. White goes full committal now with f4. One of the problems in this position is, first of all, a6 is weird. Generally, you would want to play a5 to prevent b4. But the goal for white in these positions is just to control black. And you don't want to really play b4 and f4 unless you really have something. So I feel like we're losing control of the battle here when we do this. Yeah, now I'm like, oh my God, what's happened? What's happened? I don't know. And he plays knight c6. A more natural move would definitely be c5 to keep that knight in there forever. White is moving too fast, by the way. Black is not playing great moves. Bishop g2, I don't know. Bishop c3, yeah, I guess he could have taken the pawn earlier. Now he's doing some superficial thing no one knows. Here he comes. All right. I don't know. Rook e7 can't be right. He's allowing knight d5. There we go. Now we're doing great. And he just resigns. You know, he's like, dude, I've had enough. I've had enough. I don't know. I mean, what? He could, I mean, okay, it's terrible. It's terrible. All right. So, there's a lot to say here. Let me just look at just something real quick. So we're dealing with the 1400 cohort. It's interesting. So we're moving into a period of chess in the 13-14 cohort where it's going to be less about hanging pieces and more about, the people will still hang pieces, but it'll be more about positional stuff. And we saw here a lot of that happening here, where both sides didn't have a sense of what they were doing strategically, right? And I felt like this was kind of an interesting thing here, where black completely went passive with knight c6 here, whereas with c5, I don't know, it's a very spicy position. I guess I'd rather be black. It's hard to say, though, you know, it's a mess. I'd rather be black. After knight c6, though, he is completely passive. So, and then here, actually, rook e8. This is a weird move, rook a d1. Why are we giving him the option of taking here with rook a d1? In the postmortem, which I'm very grateful to Wheat Belly about, he pointed out that if he takes on c3, my pawn hang on e4, he was unsure to take because the bishop had a great diagonal. It's true, but look, first of all, white should never give him the option. But second of all, your position here as black is so bad that you should do it, dude. You need to do it, man. And you could even start with this move and then take on c4. White doesn't have no bishop h6, by the way. Okay, so, all right. We're going to mark this as reviewed, and we'll continue here. Next up, we have Goldsman. Goldsman says, happy to graduate, found Visualize 1 beneficial, and really enjoyed the game. Wrote Levi Rubinstein. Modern and Ideas in Chess was fun, but not quite as well written as the Chernev books. Great. Goldsman, as you can see, has really come up through the dojo, and I think what maybe people could appreciate from this comment is Goldsman really, you know, he's come up the ranks. A carrot, I feel, to people of getting better at chess is that when you get to where Goldsman now has gotten, you know, look at this massive work he's doing, is now you can start doing positional books. You can start doing some positional chess, and chess just becomes a lot richer once that happens, right? It becomes a lot richer. Okay, so he's using the ECF. This is great. You can see really great improvement here from Goldsman. We got some UK clubs. We got some games. And here, this is Catherine Black, played recently. So, she goes to the same university, or her son goes to the same university. This is in Torbay. Oh, this is beautiful. We do have the times, so thank you for doing that. Again, if just because it's online doesn't mean you can't write down the times. Looking good, right? Looking good. All right, as I like this a lot. So we're going to mark this as reviewed. We'll put this up. Let's put it into the game review. All right, so here we go. Fine, good chess so far. Good. Okay. A6, unnecessary. Now you're doing great. Bishop d3. C4. And now definitely a mistake here, bishop e2. It makes no sense. Your bishop belongs here. You want to look at this diagonal, look at the king, preserve the ability to play e4. Okay. Now, maybe a4, but b4 might be a good move for black. Black doesn't do it. Opens your rook, plays bishop d7. Queen c2. I'm worried about black playing b4. I don't know. It's less powerful than it was just a half a second ago, though. h6. Black's playing a little passive. Reasonable. Now she does it. Almost like she feels, she thought forever here, too. She feels like, now I got to do something. All right. C takes b4. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think we have any business opening up those squares on the queen side. What should we play? We should play e5. You said e5, bc3, and then you write queen c3. I don't know why we would just take back. Keep this beautiful pawn here. I don't know where the knight's going. Here? I don't know. h7? I don't know. But you're doing great. I do know that. And you got a lot of different ways to improve your position. Black gave away their good bishop. You're doing great. So this is wild. Now the knight comes a hopping. Okay. Now you do this. You want to get frisky. Oh, okay. Here we come. Knight c5. a5. Queen d2. Castles. Finally. Finally they castle. Castles. f6 maybe. Now, a simpler move for black would definitely be knight g5. They got a bad knight, they should fix it. You get frisky. Maybe that's a good move. Okay. So, fe5 definitely isn't it. Queen f7's played. I think definitely bishop e8 could be considered here for black. Okay. So now ef6. I don't like ef6 because you're helping black get the knight back in. Yeah, no good. No good. Notice that you stranded your knight there on, well, I guess you could argue the knight's coming back. Bishop e5, yeah, you got to bring that knight in, bud. Yeah, it's time to bring the knight in. Oh, no, rook c2. I don't like, what if they do? Rook d8. That beautiful rook is looking at the f2 square. Play knight b6 or something, black. I don't understand why rook fc1 was so terrible. I don't know. There's a lot of moves here I don't understand. Good move. Good move. And he says defending everything. But nothing was attacked. Okay. Knight e7 doesn't seem good because now you get that nice square for the knight. Now you're doing great. That doesn't seem right. Spicy position. Here you spent 2.5 minutes thinking. I'm not a fan of what black is doing. Moves like king f1 come to mind. Yeah, I don't think knight c6 was any good. I don't think they have any business taking. I don't know why we gave away our good bishop. Oh, knight h3, that's a terrible move. So that move, actually, I think your chess improvement should be guided by the following thought. If I can avoid playing passive moves like knight h3, my chess is just going to be so much better, right? You can't be putting your knight there. Don't be putting a knight there. All right. g4. I don't like it. King f6 makes more sense to me. Now black has to spend a tempo. And now you can play knight d3. You say rook e1 stronger. Why do I want knight d3? I want you to fix your knight. Couldn't he have played rook takes d4? Okay. She have played rook takes d4. King g1 draw. What? Overall a good game, but I did get a bit greedy. Why is it a draw? This is the most complicated thing I've ever seen in my life. This isn't a draw. What are we talking about? Why is it a draw? I don't get it. No comprende. No comprende. I don't know why that's a draw. Okay. So. Whew. Spicy stuff. We will note, I mean, there was a hanging pawn that she gave you and stuff, but we will note there was a lot of strategic stuff. As we come up in these slightly higher cohorts, it's about strategic stuff, like seeing that bishop c2 is obviously the right move and not bishop e2. So right here as an example, right? Yeah. Okay. Well done. Good annotations. And now we got Spider's Latin. He says, I finally moved up. I have started playing OTB at a local chess club, the Albuquerque Chess Club. Oh, all right. This has helped me a bunch where it comes to forcing me to study and seeing the board differently. I feel it has helped me to see the board wider. I haven't had a chance to do any tourneys yet, but hopefully I can make time in the future. Doing tactics more with a wide mindset of why the tactic works and looking at all the pieces has helped me internalize the tactics better and has helped me to see them in the game better. I haven't really been logging them as I should, but I do tactics 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours daily. Being able to study openings with my better knowledge of chess has been great as well. Learning the reasons why I'm playing the opening line does what it does, such as the ideas behind it, has been great. I hate studying openings, but connecting them to the plans has been nice. Trust the process. Beautiful. So notice, 1500, 1600, you can start doing a little opening work now. Albuquerque, I spent a lot of time in Albuquerque. Grew up in Santa Fe, so that's kind of cool as well. Father of three in New Mexico. Beautiful. All right, so Spider has been working. Little off and on me, but you can see this amazing graph of gaining 468 points. When he began his journey, stuff like strategy and openings weren't important, and now they've become that. So that's important to see. It's not like we're against openings. It's like you gotta wait until you have the necessary fundamentals first. Clubs. There it is, the New Mexico Club. 6 members only. Oh man, we need a bigger New Mexico Club. Lifting heavy things, dude. The most overrepresented club in the graduation show. That thing's coming up all the time. Games. Ba-bam. This is going to be against Colin Yao. And this was very recent. Do we have a clock time? Oh, these people move too fast. Move too fast. All right. So, we'll mark it as review. We'll go game review. We'll take a look. Wait a second, though. Wait, this is too fast. This is too fast. We don't want to do it. Hold on. Do we have one that looks like an OTB game? Oh, maybe I should have done it. Now, here's the problem, Spider. When you're at this rating, 30 minutes isn't good enough. Let me just see if these other ones were also 30. Yeah. Now, a lot of times people are addicted to a time control like 30. So, for example, when you started, maybe you were doing 30 and that was appropriate to where you were. But now 30 minutes, no bueno. No bueno. So, yeah, we need a deeper time control here, Spider. All right. So, we're going to continue. Congratulations, Spider. Get those longer games done. Here we got Sweet Blues. I think Sweet Blues was in the chat earlier. Now that I feel with confidence that my newly acquired FIDE rating is accurate, I am happy to graduate. Thank you to the dojo for some of the great book recommendations. Especially enjoyed Reassess Your Chess, as well as the fantastic no-engine commentary on the World Cup and other events. which I found both fun and instructive. Please have a look against Michael Soderberg. Will do. All right, great. This is Sweet Blues. If Sweet Blues, if you're in the chat, oh, here he is. He says in the chat, I can't wait to see if Jesse will scream at me more for the opening, middle game, or end game. We'll see. Now, Sweet Blues has been with us since September from Sweden. And he's joining a chess club. Great. I bet they got some cool chess clubs in Sweden. So really good work you can see in the heat map. That looks good. And he's doing some non-dojo opening work. I don't know what it is. It's kind of interesting. Clubs. Stockholm Dojo. Beautiful. The Rilton Cup, I think, is coming up actually very soon. And Kostya is going to be there. So Kostya is going to be in Sweden with you. Maybe you're going to see him at that Rilton Cup. So he said he had a game. Of course, I already forgot the name. Mikhail Soderberg. There he is. Sudabag. So, kind of light annotations at the beginning. Let's see what we got here. So, reasonable time management. This is let's call this the modern classical time control. And here we go. Very spicy. Good. Oh my gosh. I would want a little bit of explanation here. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Poor move. And now a poor move here. Bishop takes c3. We definitely want to talk about what's going on. So notice that what white did was they gave you that beautiful bishop, and now you have all the advantages of the position, which you really toss when you play bishop takes c3, and you think for a while on it. So we want, more thinking there. I think your default move here should definitely be queen b6. A very standard plan could be queen b6, castles, d6, knight d7, and I think you're doing marvelous. I'm sure you got other plans too, right? Knight a6 followed by knight b4 to d3 looks very fancy too, right? But that's not it. That was your good piece. I don't know about taking. Okay. Now, I think I understand your intention. I think you were saying to yourself something like, well, if I do this, I get the e file, maybe I get to play rook e8. Unfortunately, it doesn't do much. And the extra pawn on c4, not that special. Also, your bishop on b7 is now officially a victim, right? There comes the victimization. Now, from white's point of view, I would say the challenge is, how do I do something creative with the knight? I'm not a huge fan of this move, or at least I don't know what his plan is. Maybe a frisky idea for white would be knight f4, knight e7. I don't know about this. I'm just playing around a little bit. In my head, I wanted this move, but honestly, if you get that move, then I'm not thrilled. Now, I still might be thrilled. I go f4 here and here. Something like that. That's the kind of thing white should be looking at. This guy's a victim. All right, rook e1. That can't be wrong. Knight b6. Weird to me. Why aren't we playing knight e5 or knight f6? Here he comes. And then that's a horrendous move. But notice you've already made it a little difficult on yourself here. Your default move, I think, should be come back. Come back. Get back. Get back to where I once belonged. Get back on, Joe. Don't do that, cry. You're hanging the rook, you fool. I was singing a song and hanging the rook. In any case, it's not f6. You talk about g6. Well, white's got a nice little initiative now. Why? Because these pieces are misplaced. All right, f6. Knight e6. Oh, no. All right. This, I'm going to argue, is an instructive mistake with queen c4. Black has one hope, and that's to get the knight there. Let's just stop him with f4. The queen c4 isn't that important of a pawn. Now, maybe we're still toast. We're probably still toast. I don't like bishop h3. We weren't threatening bishop e6 anyway. Rook b8. f4, here it comes. Knight g6. Oh, that's a nasty knight. Dang, probably the coolest move I've ever played. That is a good move, bud. Especially because if I was in this position, it's the kind of thing that you could have done to me. Because I would have been like, he's totally chumped out. He ain't doing nothing on g6. And oh man, you could have knight f4 to me. You could have done it to me too. So that's a nice shot. Boom. 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 Now, was this truly, there was a better continuation? It seems like there had to have been. Why are we giving up our queen? Now, what is our assessment here? No. Probably still winning for black. I like bishop f5 better. Fine. Yeah, that knight's awful. I like king e7 better. That can't be it. The a4 can't be it. Play a5. Then bishop d7. Oh my god, he's putting all his pawns on victim squares. Play a5. Bishop a6. Check to the miserable king. Oh my god. King f3. I don't know. Actually, there's no hope left. Chess is an easy game. Okay, so your opponent played pretty soft. Wait, how come the game goes on? How come the game goes on? I don't understand. Wait a second. Here, king h4 is probably winning, but notice the king f3 is much better because it prevents knight e4. Knight e4, you'd have bishop c4. What has happened to our coconuts? Oh, this gotten kind of loosey-goosey here, hasn't it? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. King f5. You had plenty of time here, by the way. Plenty of time. All right, so king f6, f5, king f6 winning. Knight b6 just like a cheap threat, really. Now, my sense here is you stopped analyzing this game, but it still may be winning for you. I think, yeah, I would need to do some analysis here. So the main question for black, see, when you play c3, you give the knight the square. So the main question should probably be king e5. Okay. Good. h2, c2, okay, it's maybe similar. Have we thought about this? Now, let me stress something here. So, one thing we want to say is that you absolutely need practice, and it's going into a deeper analysis of this thing, just setting up a board and doing the analysis, because yes, king f5 was a mistake, but the analysis of this position, you might still be winning. And I couldn't tell you just immediately what's going on here. It's very spicy. My guess is it's still winning. Right? Mobilize the king, and the pawn is going to cut the knight's retreat squares. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just hot, like all get out, though, isn't it? Now you could analyze king d5 and h4. Okay. We know what the work is. Good game. And, you're doing great. So, Sweet Blues, this is great, dude. You're doing great. Um, I thought that was a good game to look at. Knight f4, great shot. In addition to analyzing the endgame, I want you to feel shame. I want you to feel shame about the bishop on b7 and the knight on b6. Okay. Actually, I need to remember to follow people here too. I've been forgetting to follow people. All right, so well done. That was Sweet Blues, who's also in the chat. We got a couple more left. Next up, we have Jakob VG. Made some progress, especially since joining a local club. Definitely spent more hours on chess than is shown in my profile. Happy to follow the recommendations by the dojo as I've just started working on the woodpecker. Beautiful stuff. Woodpecker's pretty tough, dude, especially those ones that they mark as in 3 or whatever it is. All right, so 1610. Beautiful, nice staircase graph coming up here. And that looks good. So he's in the Dutch dojo. Beautiful. No games. Oh. Now, as knows, I'm happy to see it. Because I'm at my end. Okay? I don't got that much left. DM Hoagie, thank you for subscribing. Now, we got this Anazi over here. Anazi, look at this. Joined a while back. It doesn't say anything. Did this? That's some sad. I don't know. Now, maybe this is a cry for help. Little blue in there. Right in the center. Might be a cry for help. I don't know. I can't decipher it. Probably no games here. No. All right. So, Anazli. You know what you need to do. Next up, we got Nico. Nico also American based in Estonia. That's cool. I would love to play some chess in Estonia. So, joined recently. Probably doesn't have anything either. No. So, welcome to the dojo. You know what you need to do. I had an idea, by the way, just crossed my mind, is that as the dojo grows and we get such a big grad show, I think it would be beneficial to my mental health, but also to the show itself, if we found a way to filter out players like Anazi and Nico from the show. Not that it's not, a great graduation they had, but just to filter it by people who've both done a little bit of work on the heat map and then also players who've done an annotation. That's gonna be. I put that on the dojo wish list. All right. So we got Sunka, graduated second time, Art of Attack, beautiful. So here we go. Learn the moves of the kid, right? Beautiful. Now, when you're up here, you got to do some work, and Sunka's doing the work. So that's inspirational. Got up to 1831, aus Deutschland. He's part of Dojo 1.0. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, I'm liking this a lot. We got some clubs. How can you both be Italy and Germany? These Europeans did. All right, let's go over here, my games. And let me just make sure that was 1028. This one's more recent. Very important. We're going to try to roll out some amendments to how the dojo My Games database works. But in general, the classical games like here, they should be going into the My Games folder as a default. Eric Blair, thanks for you to be here. So, we got over here, something's wrong with the clock. Okay, market is reviewed. Go over here. All right, some good takeaways. Here we got Sunka playing a slightly lower rated opponent. Bishop d6 is a little bit wrong, but it can't be that bad. c5. Good move. Fine. a3. I think you had other moves. I want you to talk about them, but a3 isn't terrible. Good. Okay. Good. Good. And black's in a difficult spot now because you're going to get control of both the d4 and c5 squares. Good move. And now you're just playing good chess, honestly. Knight takes, queen takes. And yes, you could have played bishop takes, but the problem is black in general doesn't want to be trading off their dark square bishop or minor pieces in general. Beautiful chess. This is good chess. b6. And now I think you're going to decide to win this pawn. Okay. Now let's talk about why, in general, knight c3 is the move we'd like to do instead. Because the knight is poor on a4. Needs to get fixed. Right? Okay. So, I think we have really put ourselves... This is an important moment, Sunka. I'm hoping you'll watch this someday. The grief with you not fixing the knight is all of a sudden black might have real counterplay, especially beginning with the move queen a4, queen h3. All of a sudden it's a little spicy then, and your knight's just funny. Okay, rook e8. What move do I want from you? I want you to play knight c3. All right, he's missing queen h3. Now you talk about this variation here, queen h3, queen f3, knight g4, queen g2. Doesn't end there. The guy keeps the pressure with queen h5. Also, one of the things you can see here is that at some point, black should really strongly consider rook c8 to not only threaten knight c2, but to cut the knight from coming back. See? So if rook c8, knight c3, now knight g4, that kind of thing. I want to cut that knight from coming back. And this kind of sensitivity to the poor piece, it's really important at this level. It's kind of like the difference a lot of times in my experience from like a 2000, that range of 2000 to 24. All right, here we go. Good that you're fixing the knight. Okay. All right, so now you're just up a pawn. Good. All right. Rook c7. I think I approve that message. Queen a8. That's a little soft. Now f3. Looks like queen f... No, f3 is fine. What am I saying? Fine. Good. Simple chess. All right, so they've gone completely passive. I would like, of course, to know what's going on with the times. And you play king f2. You say you'd rather see b5. It's hard for me to argue against king f2, though. There I would be interested maybe in a b5 intuitively, because queen c6, I don't know why we're doing queen c6. Though maybe I guess I do, but I like the pressure on f7. Okay. Good move. Rook b5. King f1. It's a little scary, but you are fully controlling this, it looks like. Good move. A lot of cheap threats. Okay, you could have had that with check if you wanted to. Good move. Good move. Good move. Oh, simple chess. Simple chess. There we go. We got more pieces. So pretty soon we're gonna start pushing those babies. Yeah. Check to the miserable king. They're not going to live through this one. Just asking the question, he says. All right, so winning endgame here is time ran out. Beautiful, Sunka. I want to say that leaving the knight on a4 was a instructive mistake. And then your control, once you had the technically winning position, I thought was very good. Yeah, so that was really good. And so we go back a second and look at your rating graph. You're doing great. Yeah, there's every reason to think that you can go higher than this one over here. Every reason that you can make it. And you get to play in Germany. Beautiful ability to play within the club system there. So that's a beautiful thing. All right, we got a couple more left. And I got to get ready for this big podcast we got going on a little bit. P. Santan says, hard to say what ended up being the single factor that helped me most reach 2100. I would attribute it to a series of factors including nutrition and outside and during tournaments, regular physical activities, work on hard positions with my coach, analyzing my games with my coach and colleagues from my cohort. Also, playing in more senior events is certainly a factor, in particular in tournaments in Europe where I can play higher rated seniors. Last but not least, tactical work. On the way to the last two tournaments where I gained a combined 87 plus rating points, I completed the Turbocharger Tactics books. That was a hard book, dude. And was doing regular lead chess puzzles. Great. A suggestion from Oleksienko himself. Also, since I was playing mostly seniors and they tend to be very conservative, I was striving to play aggressively with both colors, and I believe that also paid off. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm also playing in the senior leagues, P. Santan. So this is your fellow soul over here. All right. So it looks like you had a little break recently with logging your work, but otherwise you're really crushing it. Dojo 1.0, always good to see. And second graduation, so this is beautiful. 2100 FIDE, that is not a chump rating at all. I would like Pete Santan to know more about you, like where are you from, that kind of thing. He's in Brazil. That's where he's from. But, just a little description of what's going on. All right, beautiful. We got some games here. Great, so this comes from September. And I'll tell you guys what, this is going to be from a senior tournament. I want to take my time with it, so I'm going to give myself a small break. We're going to come back and finish this up. I'll be right back.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he packing. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books.
All right, my friends, we're back. All right, Jesse's a hero. Yeah, I'm a hero, but I've been here 3+ hours. Are you kidding me? Jeez, Louise. Okay, here we go. This is P. Santan, famous dojoer. Very frisky opening. All right, so A3, Bishop E7, Queen E2, Rook C8. All right, so this is a suggestion from Hari Krishna. It is a very spicy position. Indeed. Now, King H1 is played. F4 looks pretty correct to me, but all right, here we go. Bishop E7, F4, and now D6. Looks superficially like a blunder. Okay. And he says an automatic move that does nothing to prevent E5. Now, I wouldn't call it, I would call it a very normal structure for your pawn to be on d6. So I don't know if it's a blunder. My questions have more to do with whether he can play knight b5. That was my question. That was the one I had. But otherwise, I don't think that d6 is a strategic blunder. I really don't. When you play d6, it's a very standard Sicilian position. But if you can play knight b5, then obviously no bueno, right? So he trusts you and plays e5, and now I think you're probably doing great. All right, knight d5. I think you could have taken it. I think you could have probably also played de and knight d7. Yeah, I don't know. I want to stress, I don't know, but okay, I'm going to let it go, but I'm just looking at variations. So, knight d5, bishop e4. I agree with you. I think bishop d4 makes more sense. Queen c4. Snip, snap. And now he plays bishop d5, and now you play an automatic move with bishop d5. It would be great to see your time on the clock, but we don't have that here. Right. Was this genius for him to play e6? Okay, I would want to analyze knight takes d5, but all right, bishop d6, boom. Oh, it's getting a little loopy here for me. Bishop c5, knight takes, e takes, rook fe1, okay. And now a sad thing for us, we have to undevelop our king. And you call this equal after a5. There's no way it's equal, though. There's no way it's equal. White's got to be a little bit better. So, rook d4. Looks reasonable to me. And rook e3 I don't like. He needs to play king g1. You just got to play king g1. That's all there is to say. b8. I don't know why we're not doing king g1. Interesting move. And you say white's a little bit better. Okay. Okay. So, you talk about f5. g3 is, of course, normal looking. And now rook d3. All right, good. Finally gets the king in. Finally. h5, I don't know. And now white plays g4. I think now rook d5 is pretty interesting for white because rook c3 stuff is less. No, I guess it's fine for you. Okay, it's fine. I like rook a3 intuitively better. I don't understand king g3. Yeah, here you could play something like g6 to just shut it all down. Good move. Now you're doing fine. I mean, are we just going to go back and forth here? Are we just going back and forth? All right. Now it's fascinating. Okay. We needed more annotations earlier. King h6 definitely doesn't look right. And now king g6. Now I think you might be in a little trouble here. It's at least difficult now. I don't know about that move. But okay. Now you're saying king g6 is equal? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to say that's a long road, actually. I'm going to say that's a long road. For example, king g6. I mean, maybe it's equal, but you just look at a position. Oh, it's close. I'm gonna grant you it's close. Makes me nervous, though. I'll tell you that. Yeah, like rook e5. It's not an easy. It's not easy. And then this is textbook, I think. Yep, we're toast. Brutal. Brutal. That's senior chess right there. Oof. Oh, that one hurt. So good opening, and allowing knight takes b5 was a mistake. Pretty high level game in a lot of other ways. And here e5. It's funny, you call it a mistake. Well, it was a mistake because he had knight b5. But this is a position I guess I would have wanted some more analysis on. So, for example, boom, boom, boom. Now, the thing that scares me is bishop e4. I think that it might scare me too much, actually, but let's just go on a little bit more. Queen c7. Queen g4. I think that scares me too much. That's still not over. Bishop e4. All right, I would have wanted to analyze that, let me just say. And then this thing. I'm not 100% actually. Like, bishop d4 makes sense to me, but why it's better for him, I don't actually know. Right? So, like, let's say I take, and he takes, and I take, and I don't know what he wants to do. Takes, I castle. Why am I dead? Right? Why am I dead? I think I'm doing fine. And then this was an interesting one. And you say rook ad1, snip, snap, bishop a3. Beautiful. Standard Sicilian stuff. Okay, Pisanta. Someday I'm going to see you at the World Senior, bud. It's going to be great. World Senior team. You'll be representing Brazil, bud. It's going to be great. All right, next up we have Michael Polak, 23 years old, from the Czech Republic. Played chess when he was younger, but on a lower level with no clear goal. Only started improving during the pandemic and after discovering Dojo YouTube. Oh, that's cool. I was looking towards 21 for a long time, since most of my tournaments. Since 2020, I had a performance above 2100, but because of my established rating, it took me several years to get here. I officially joined the dojo in summer, started seriously studying in August, September, and intend to continue. 18 hours a week is my current goal, but he's got to be going to school as well. Compared to others of my rating, I think I am better at endgames and positions with material imbalances, but I lack in calculation and visualization, and chaotic positions do not suit me. Now notice, you just said that you were okay with material imbalance, but not okay with chaotic. To me, those are kind of the same thing. Chess Dojo, am I joining for the pod? I am, but isn't the pod at 3 o'clock? Let me go in here. It's I got it on my thing. It's 3 o'clock. If you tell me it's different, then it's different. But I'm almost done. So let's finish this Michael Polak. I hope I didn't get that wrong. Yeah, I have it as 3 o'clock. All right, here we go. So, games. If they tell me to get off of here, I might have to get off of here. Oh my God, look at this. He's got. This is a problem. A lot of times we get people, and they're not putting it in the My Games, and then I don't know where to go. Okay, guys, I gotta go. They told me the wrong times. Michael, I will promise to do this again. I'm gonna follow you here. You've got a beautiful chess in front of you. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Whew, man. Jesse, gotta go. Ba-boom, ba-boom. All right. And we're gonna raid somebody. Let's raid the famous GM Canty. Thank you, Eric Blair. Oh, man. Bye, everybody.